countertops for just $14.99, or an all-in kitchen for $6,999, including cabinetry, countertops, and sink and faucet package. You heard right, $6,999 all-in kitchen. Stop by a Colonial Marble and Granite area showroom to see their amazing selection of products, or make an appointment for a free in-home consultation. Visit colonialmarble.net.
We wanted to let you know why you should switch to DuckDuckGo by explaining how they work versus Google Search and Chrome. DuckDuckGo is a browser like Google Chrome, but it's a private browser that blocks trackers, so it helps stop creepy ads following you online. It comes with DuckDuckGo Private Search, which is a search engine like Google, but doesn't spy on your searches. And there's no catch. It's free. DuckDuckGo makes money from ads, but not the creepy kind. If you search for a car, you see a car ad. That's it. Join the tens of millions of people taking back control of their online privacy and download DuckDuckGo from the App Store, Play Store, or DuckDuckGo.com today.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3,
Philadelphia.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia.
Free speech lives here.
It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Tuesday, June 20th. It is indeed Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, always live on the free Odyssey app. And, of course, streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube as we take you up until 10 o'clock this morning. 855-839-1210, the phone number. Twitter and Instagram, the radio station at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick Kayal, K-A-Y-A-L. Dawn Stensland with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo, our associate producers. Action-packed Tuesday show. A litany of stories and topics to get into. Very interesting, very feisty, combative interview last night between Brett Baer, Donald Trump of Fox News. Dawn, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you as
Guess
well.
Who's back?
The stalker.
Yeah.
The boss.
Up, dude? Hey.
We missed you.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
How was your 3-day Father's Day holiday weekend, buddy?
Very nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you celebrate Juneteenth yesterday?
I celebrated having a day off with my wife and my son, which I very rarely get. So.
That's nice work out of you. Did you guys do, like, pack a little basket, go maybe do, like, a little picnic lunch on a blanket somewhere?
All of that.
Yeah?
We did all of that, yes.
Load up the high seas and the ecto cooler?
Yep.
Attaboy.
We actually decided we were going to go exploring, so we were going to go look at the wreckage of the Titanic.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Has anybody found Jack Dawson?
We made it back, but sorry.
Not everybody else did.
Not everybody else did.
The unsinkable Molly Brown did not?
See, I can swim. 12,000 feet under the sea. Like, that's no problem for me.
So you can pedal 65 miles on a bike. You can swim 12,000 miles. All right.
Yeah.
Nice work out of you.
Yep.
We got a lot to do this morning. A little bit of a big take with subway similarities. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. As I mentioned, a big night last night with Trump, Brett Baer. Also, John Fetterman gets ripped on Juneteenth. Some DeSantis stuff. And this might be the best story of the day, and we'll get to this right at the bottom of the hour. But even Joe Biden's aides are mystified by his commentary and his phrases, such as, God save the Queen, man, when no one has any idea what he's talking about and why he continues to use the phrases that he does. But the media will cover for him, and we will explain why coming up shortly. But 6:05 Tuesday morning, let's get to the news. Dawn Stensland with round number one.
And good morning on this Tuesday. We're at June 20th, one day before the official start of summertime. And I'll tell you how sunny or not so much it will get today. We're sponsored by Holland Floor Covering this Tuesday, June 20th. So we have two separate shootings that Philadelphia police are investigating. These were at Airbnbs, and we know at least 3 teenagers were injured in Philadelphia. So Philadelphia police investigating say that this all stems from underage kids, teens, throwing parties at Airbnb properties in the city of Philadelphia. The first one happened last night in the Kensington section of Philadelphia, about 10 o'clock last night. Neighbors were calling 911 complaining because they heard gunshots, they heard loud music. There were at least 100 kids, juveniles, young people, they say, at this party, Airbnb property at Amber and Susquehanna Avenue. Then the second shooting, that one happened about 2 hours later, right around midnight. So these police investigations went overnight, so we're still learning some new information. That second Airbnb teen party happened in the Strawberry Mansion section of the city, North 29th and Cecil B. Moore Ave. Large crowd, dozens of people. We're hearing as many as 65, 100 people. In that one, we have a 13-year-old girl shot and an 18-year-old as well. 13-year-old, we know, is in stable condition in the hospital. So this is all under investigation by Philadelphia police. Airbnb speaking out, saying that under their terms of service, it's illegal for anybody under 18, 17, and under even create an account to travel or host.
I was just going to ask if you could rent one of these as a minor, but you just answered that question for me.
Wow. I mean, remember I told you I think this is the problem down the shore.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's the same thing. These teenagers, they're smart, they're clever. And even if they get an older sibling or somebody to rent it out for them, and so they need to see some ID. They need to have a better verification process.
Sounds like a voting issue as well.
Yeah.
Well, how dare you ask for ID? How dare you prove who you are?
The only thing as a parent, I would say that the city of Philadelphia and the neighbors are all blaming Airbnb. And I would say if my 13-year-old, I have teenagers, is not home at 11 o'clock on a Monday night, I know about it, and I'm tracking them down.
You're tracking their phones too, aren't you?
You
better. You best believe
never.
it.
I would never track my children.
Well, you think about when you rent a hotel room or something or a motel. Like, you have to physically go there and check in. And
Well said.
With Airbnbs, it's all online. Most times, it's a third party that does the renting for you. The owners don't do them.
Yep.
And they have no way of verifying anything. So, yeah, there needs to be another step because kids have found the loophole.
I would agree. Yeah.
Or multiple loopholes. Yeah, so I know that Airbnb last year, they launched this anti-party technology they claim is aimed at blocking anybody who tries to use the rental platform to throw a party. But obviously, it's not working just for parties in general or underage. So, as Greg said, they've figured out the loophole. I'll just remind you, just 8 weeks ago, less than that, City Council held a hearing on short-term rental properties rented through these platforms like Airbnb. Part of that is they wanted to make sure they tax them. But the other issue is these parties that lead to violence. All right, we have in Bucks County in the suburbs, a missing 9-year-old boy has died at the hospital overnight after he was pulled from a pond. And this is Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Police called to the pond, which is on, I think, Vaux and Hickory Roads. And that was just around dinner time, maybe about 6 o'clock in New Britain Township. So the child's bike as well as a fishing pole were nearby when the officers arrived, but say the boy was nowhere to be found. So ultimately, a dive team from Point Pleasant Fire Department, those first responders located the boy in the water, rushed him to the hospital. And real tragic news there, and a reminder to us all about kids near swimming pools or ponds unattended. We got to be careful on that one and be vigilant. Okay, I am going to update this one for just for Greg Stocker. This started as a breaking story mid-morning yesterday, and I think we talked about it at the tail end of Kayal and Company yesterday. But a massive search is underway right now to find a submarine with 5 people on board. This went missing on a trip to view the wreckage of the Titanic. So this vessel lost contact about an hour and 45 minutes into its dive at some point Sunday afternoon. The U.S. Coast Guard is speaking out on this, saying that they are leading the search. This crew has an estimated 96 hours of life support of air, oxygen. So we're told they're good until probably Thursday. And so this is the one that it's $250,000 per person.
Oh, my God.
So we have on board a British adventurer, a French diver, a Pakistani father and son, very wealthy people, as well as the crew. And they were going to see this Titanic wreckage, which sits at the bottom of the ocean, nearly 13,000 feet below the surface. and that would be southeast of Newfoundland, Canada. So searching, I mean, Greg Stocker, who I thought of you when you know what I'm going to say, right? Because of claustrophobic issues.
Yeah, this is why I never leave my house. Because I'm just afraid of what's going to happen.
Well, I've never understood why if you obviously have to have unbelievable wealth to do this. $250,000 just to go down.
Yeah.
But 4,700 feet, or what was the total depth?
12,000.
12,000. And I also just saw a story of a guy that fell off the Grand Canyon as a tourist. It was either 4,700 feet or 47,000 feet to his death. What is the enjoyment of doing these adventures that pose a serious threat to your well-being? If I want to watch the Titanic, Nat Geo will have a documentary on it.
And with big screen TVs, you can feel like you're just there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
No way am I going down there.
And I call it a submarine. It's technically a submersible. So it's pretty cool. We'll talk about it moving forward. But it's kind of ironic, I guess, that they were going to see the Titanic, which, maybe just leave it be.
Yes.
Right?
Because it's only been down there for like 110 years.
I mean, the ship sunk. It's there. There's a conspiracy theory that it never actually sunk.
Oh, really?
What?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a conspiracy theory online that it's like I don't know.
Is it still in operation?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Who started this? Alex Jones?
I have no idea.
All right.
You know how things start on.
Yeah. Well, if it's on the internet, it has to be true.
Yeah.
Well, our Phillies are hot, so we did complete that sweep against the Oakland A's. We talked about that yesterday. Tonight, Phillies start this brand new series tonight against Atlanta, which is also hot. So we're both 13-15 as we head into this, hoping Kyle Schwarber, Mr. June, keeps his streak alive.
This will be a great series. This is the first must-watch series of the year, I think.
They haven't. I mean, the Phillies have been red hot, but they haven't gained any ground.
Because the Braves are hot too.
Exactly, they have the exact same record.
Yeah,
isn't that weird?
They can chip away with the Braves.
Right.
Starting tonight.
Yep.
Have we faced them since we, smoked them?
I don't know that they have met yet this year. I don't believe so. If they did, I think it might have been in Atlanta the first time around.
Yeah, I don't know if we've. So this is it.
Yeah.
It's like, we smoked you last time.
Kyle Schwarber is just on fire.
That's awesome. All right, let's get to our NBC 10 first alert forecast this morning. We are going to be rising to 78 degrees, mostly cloudy skies with a high of 78. Right now we're at 61. And then tomorrow, a cool down begins for the first official day of summer, 72 with mostly cloudy skies. So we're nice and a little cooler, get a reprieve there. Thursday looks like we're going to get rain, much needed rain, I will add, 71 degrees. And then we pop back up into the 80s for Friday and through the weekend. But we could see some storms Friday and Sunday. Okay, so Friday could be some severe storms moving through. And then Saturday, a possibility of some showers. But I don't see any washouts here as far as Friday, Saturday, Sunday as you plan your golf, your beach days, that sort of thing. But we do have this cool down coming up tomorrow and Thursday. Okay, we're sponsored by Holland Floor Covering, the region's premier flooring dealer, family operated for more than 50 years now, providing exceptional service, professional installation. Just visit their 2 showrooms in either Wayne or Newtown. No charge samples, no obligation estimates. Learn more, hollandfloor.com, Kayal & Company, News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 6:13 Tuesday morning. Let's get to another Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal & Company.
All right, this morning's Big Take, Subway similarities, but different rules for different fools when it comes to the justice system. Most public transit systems in big blue cities are nightmarish hellholes. Nobody feels safe. We know the dangers of SEPTA here in Philadelphia, and the world knows the dangers of the subway system in New York City. And here's a memo to any good Samaritan who contemplates whether or not they should step in and help a fellow citizen out who is under attack. Make sure you check off certain boxes and make sure the perpetrator doesn't check off certain boxes, and be very hesitant to help a potential victim, or you are screwed by today's non-law enforcing justice system. I'm talking specifically about 2 major incidents in the New York subway system over the last 2 months. As you know, and as we've discussed on Kayal & Company, Daniel Penny is a 24-year-old Marine veteran who is charged with second-degree manslaughter in the chokehold death of Jordan Neely, The story has been all over the news media because it plays into their agenda to push certain narratives. In this case, the left, mainstream media, race baiters such as Al Sharpton and others who feed off of driving a racial divide have pounced all over this story because the Marine, a white man, put a violent, mentally ill repeat offender who is black in a chokehold that ultimately ended his life. Penny could have kept his head down, of course, kept swiping and scrolling on his phone, and let Mr. Neely make threats and continue being a real danger to society, and he would be a free man today, not facing an upcoming trial. But he stepped up to a man with over 40 priors, including violent assaults of elderly men and women, and he ended that threat. That's exactly what a Marine is trained to do. But I'm sure if he didn't, Subway Police and NYPD's finest would have been there in a matter of moments, right? Yeah, probably not. No mention, though, of the others who helped assist Mr. Penny, who, oh, by the way, happened to be black. That doesn't matter. Just the narrative of a white man against a black man and someone who could not breathe. Mr. Penny was jailed and had to post bail to the tune of $100,000. But have no fear. No cash bail is still here in the Big Apple. The second story I'm about to talk about is about a man who is also a hero, but he has been treated differently by the justice system. And of course, the media isn't really interested in covering this story from wall to wall because the identity politics don't fit the narrative that outlets like the New York Times, Washington Post, Philadelphia Inquirer, MSNBC, and CNN like to push. Have you heard about Jordan Williams? Mr. Williams is an African-American who, much like Mr. Penny, stepped up as a brave Good Samaritan and put to end a threat. Their stories are quite similar. Both men were on the subway when a maniac started making threats and getting violent. Both men stepped in to save the passengers and themselves from any harm. And both men end up in jail by New York City prosecutors on manslaughter charges. The only difference is that Mr. Penny had to post bond for $100,000. Mr. Williams didn't have to post any money for bail. These two men are heroes, but one man who is white pays $100,000 in bail. The other man who is black pays nothing. And if you think about it, this is no different than today's Soros-funded criminal justice reform, in which we are allowing criminals who fit a certain description off the hook. And the same applies to a pair of heroes who did what we all praise and thank them for. But here, even when it comes to being a good Samaritan and a hero in the community, your identity politics matter to the justice system. It's the only thing they care about. The media and everyone else complicit in this bizarro world of racial divide that we are living in. Jordan Williams is accused of fatally stabbing an ex-con who punched his ex-girlfriend on a J train ride last week. He was released Thursday after bail, or without bail, after his arraignment in Brooklyn Criminal Court. Assistant District Attorney David Engel had asked the judge several times to impose $100,000 cash bail on Mr. Williams, who is a 20-year-old from Hollis, Queens, who allegedly knifed DeVictor Oquadro on Tuesday during a subway struggle. But Mimes, the judge, refused and cut him loose. Jason Goldman, Williams' attorney, had the following to say about his client in front of the media last week after his legal arraignment. Take a listen.
Just the first question here.
Before, I don't want to cut you off. I'm going to make a statement.
Okay.
I'm not going to take too many questions, if any, right now.
Okay.
Look, it was self-explanatory to some extent what happened in there. This judge was excellent. She saw the issues with the case. We weren't here to try the case necessarily, but there's a lot of evidence that we already know about, and there's more coming out. And she realized that he is not a flight risk, and that is what this is all about. Because if she said bail, really in any amount, he would have been on Rikers Island fighting this case from the inside. He deserves to be on the outside. The judge realized that. We're very grateful today. We're not going to talk about the facts of the case because it's inappropriate to do so for now, but clearly he's been charged with manslaughter, and we look forward to fighting back in court.
Now, you have already made some comments that you feel that this is a double standard, the way your client is being treated versus the way that Daniel Penny was handled, and that you feel racism is playing a role here. What about that?
Well, I can walk that back. Look, I think him being charged right away and held was obviously different than how Mr. Penny was released and had a few weeks and then had to voluntarily surrender himself.
But do you think that was racist?
That was a big difference, but then we saw the difference today where they asked for the same amount that Daniel Penny's bail was, and this judge released my client. So
all they care about is the race of every individual. And since then, Jordan Williams has received $71,500 in just one day for his legal defense after his mother started what is basically a GoFundMe on a Christian fundraiser donation website, which is really great to see. In my opinion, both of these men are heroes. Race shouldn't be what separates their bail amounts, their media coverage, and the selective outrage that ensues. This, if anything, is the opposite of progressive. I would argue it is regressive. We are now once again letting someone's skin color be a deciding factor and a driving force in stories of tragedy. It's basically reverse racism, and it's wrong. Both of these men should remain free. Both should be out of jail without posting bond, because both did what our police and government used to do prior to the last 3 years, and that is step up in the face of potential conflict. And that is eliminating threats that are being posed to innocent civilians by harmful offenders, especially those who are repeat offenders in this law and order lacking society that we live in. You can blame the George Soroses of the world, the Alvin Braggs of the world, the Squad Dems who wanted to defund the police, and all the media members who vilified good officers over a few bad apples. But don't blame Mr. Penny and don't blame Mr. Williams. But be aware, your identity matters, and so too does the boxes that you check or you don't check. So think about it before you step in one of these situations. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
Big take this morning. If you have thoughts or reaction, 855-839-1210. The phone number. You can get in on Twitter and Instagram at 1210WPHT, or, of course, be a part of the Kayal and Company comment community on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the like and subscribe button and have your voice heard. We'll come back, get some thoughts on that. And also, busy night last night. Donald Trump sat down with Bret Baier for an exclusive on Fox News at 6 p.m. We'll get into that, and also how the media goes out of their way to defend Joe Biden, and also who is breaking through with independence for the 2024 presidential race. That's all still ahead. 6 o'clock hour underway here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
You're invited to a private showing of the most important movie you'll see in retirement. The Baby Boomer Dilemma is a groundbreaking documentary from award-winning director Doug Orchard. Throughout the film, Nobel Prize winners, PhDs, and esteemed economists expose the cracks in the financial industry that have 401ks, IRAs, Social Security, and other retirement plans on the brink of collapse. After the movie, you'll receive an education that's unlike any other. Learn how to apply the solutions presented by these experts, which align with and validate our proprietary crash-proof retirement system, proven by over 5,000 consumers. Register for this complimentary screening at Springfield Country Club on June 28th, and let Crash-Proof Retirement provide you the crucial information you need to avoid the baby boomer dilemma that's on the horizon. Registration is required. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Hi, this is Norman the Floorman from Norman Carpet. I went to see a psychic. When I knocked on the door, she said, "Who is it?" So I left. No kidding, folks. If you're responsible for buying carpet for your company or organization, you need to call me now. I stock the largest selection of commercial carpet in the Delaware Valley. And yes, we can install within 48 hours. Call 800-220-RUGS. Call Norman the Floorman to save 50% off our competitor's best price. Now that's not chopped liver.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Crews working on the I-95 collapse are set to finish backfilling at the site today. A 9-year-old boy has died after he was found in a Bucks County pond. Search crews are looking for a submarine that went missing off the Atlantic coast on an expedition to see the Titanic wreckage.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
This is Larry Steinitz of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
On June 30th, a hero arrives only in theaters.
Indiana Jones, a final triumph.
This summer, a legend will face his destiny.
I've seen things I can't explain, but I've been looking for this all my life.
His final adventure
Give him hell, Indiana Jones!
will be his greatest.
This is it.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Only in theaters June 30th. Tickets on sale now.
Don't miss Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor, Saturday afternoons at 5. Tune in for accurate information so you can make the right medical decisions. Your radio doctor, Dr. Marianne Ritchie, Saturday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Summer's the perfect time for your child or grandchild to get ahead. If your child needs support, special tutoring, and custom instruction, METC is here to help. Now's the time to make the call to METC, called a Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. For over 30 years, METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Gannett, has helped people of all ages to grow personally and academically. Call Kathy now at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. Call 215-493-4200. Now's the time to get assistance for your child to help them succeed. Visit online, METC.com. METC's tutoring studio. Call them today, 215-493-4200, or email Kathy directly, info@metc.com. Remember, 1210 listeners get a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity. Help your child get one-on-one help. 215-493-4200.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
.628. Welcome back in. It's Kayal and Company as we are live here on a Tuesday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, the free Odyssey app, live on YouTube. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, 855-839-1210, the phone number. Stalker back in the saddle after having a day off yesterday. Michael Pelka in for him yesterday, and we'll be in for Dom today. And I believe, do we have the time confirmed for Vivek Ramaswamy?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock?
Yeah.
Vivek will be on with Opelka, which, by the way, I guess Vivek's going to be, he's going to swing by Kensington today.
Swing by?
Yeah, swing by. Well, drive by, swing by.
Does anybody swing by Kensington?
You just try to get in and out in one piece, unlike the Titanic.
Stop. No, so Kathy Barnett is with his campaign. So she was on last week. So she said they're going to Kensington looking at, the drug problem. It's a zombie problem. And it's not going to be easily solved by, giving out needles, fresh needles, or any of that nature.
Right.
So he's on my show too. He's just not in person.
Okay.
So he's in town today, and then there's a Union League event this evening. I'm going to that.
Oh.
But he's on the Dom show, and then he's on the Zioli show. He'll be in
and he's
here
on your
in
show
person.
Too?
He's on my show,
what
but he's just
doing? Like why is he on 3 shows?
I set him up with Kathy months ago.
He doesn't turn down an interview.
Okay.
I really do like the guy, and he's doing it. I'll tell you what. Let me go out on a limb here, and this might not resonate, but I don't even care.
Uh-oh.
He's doing a better job of making a name for himself than DeSantis is. Now, the polling, I'm not saying polling-wise. Polling-wise, DeSantis is 4 times ahead of him, yet DeSantis is 2.5 times behind Trump. But I would argue that Vivek Ramaswamy has done more. Vivek.
Rhymes with cake.
Yes.
Okay.
I would argue that he's done
no shot.
I know he doesn't. I'm not saying he's got a shot.
That's not the point, though. He's 37. He's extremely impressive, and he will be with us in this country for a long time.
Well, I'm 43 and I'm
role.
extremely impressive, and I'll be here for a long time too. So.
Well, thank God.
I mean, okay.
Yes. Just don't ever play Gordon Chang on the cut sheet.
Wait, what?
Pelka ran us about 20 minutes of Gordon Chang yesterday. I was ready to blow my head off.
Are you kidding?
No.
Oh, boy.
I'd rather be at PF Chang.
We were like naughty kids. We were texting each other.
Yeah, I was like,
in the classroom.
I was like, are we done with Gordon Chang yet?
Oh, gee.
I was just like, China theory and China policy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, he was deep in the weeds with it.
Okay.
But no, I really do think Vivek has found a way to go from, whether it's 0% to 3%, 2% to 4%. I'm not saying he's got a better chance than DeSantis, but I don't really have any negatives to say about Vivek other than the fact that he's got no shot. Like DeSantis' stock for me has gone down, where I look at Vivek and I'm like, you know what? This guy continues to impress me. The only criticism I have of him is the fact that he's kind of a media filthy word. I can't say on the radio.
Whore?
Yes.
Everybody
Well, if you
wants
wanna
him
say that,
on.
Go ahead.
And would you turn it down?
No.
I mean,
No.
here's the thing about it when you
did.
say he has no shot. He has
I did, by the way.
Oh.
You potty mouth.
No, would you turn him down? Yes, I did. Sorry.
Well, if I had the option, I would not. I'll welcome anybody on. Anybody wants to come on and talk, that's fine by me.
I don't need him on 4 shows. He's already on 3. Just saying.
Okay.
I know. Well, we need on those probably moving forward on these candidates when they come to town.
This is a
we
great
probably should
staff
coordinate.
meeting, by the way. We probably should have had this at 5:30.
Probably should. I booked this a long time ago because I was, whatever.
Yeah.
'Cause I was doing the Union League thing, so
Is Helen
I didn't
Gim
realize.
going? Is Helen Gim going to that tonight? She's been known to frequent the Union League.
Yeah, she's been mighty quiet,
Yeah.
hasn't she?
Yeah. All right. 855-839-1210. So a couple of things here. We can get to Brett Baer and Trump. We'll have a lot of that on the cut sheet for sure. One takeaway from watching that last night, I thought there were times where Trump made some really good points about getting his message out. This is the only way I can do it. He had a nice swipe at Fox News about how they've gone down in the ratings without Tucker. I also thought Brett Baer, because Brett's a very fair guy. He's ABC. He's by the book. He's not the entertaining guy. He's the straight news guy. I thought he was combative with Trump. I thought Trump was feisty with him. I thought all in all, it was pretty good. But the one thing I noticed, and it really goes to show you how people are just dug in on one side or the other. I got a tweet from Duffy Domino who says, I caught the Trump-Brett Baer interview last night. Nice job by BB. Terrible job by the ex-president. Brett gave him all the chances to answer the questions, and he just said what he wanted to say. Trump has dropped the ton in my book. But I saw a litany of tweets last night from Trump supporters, how they were crushing Brett Baer and how Fox News has an agenda and this, that, and the other thing. So I don't think if you're looking for any revelations from last night, I'd be shocked if anybody really had a changing of their mind or of their opinion of either the ex-president or their former favorite ex-news network that they now boycott because they parted ways with Tucker Carlson. It seems very split from a partisan standpoint. I'm not sure, Dawn, if you watched it last night. I didn't even know that Trump was going to be on with Brett. I was at the pool, and I looked down at my watch, and it was like 5:52, and I'm like, Stalker's going to love this, but I'm really mad. I forgot about the 5. So I go upstairs, and I start getting ready to do some show prep, and I put Fox on. And right at like 6:01, I'm seeing Brett Baer and Trump, and I'm like, I don't even recall them really promoting this interview. I had no idea it was going down. Luckily, I caught it right in time.
Usually, if I have it on, I have it on with captions, and I'm listening to Zioli.
Okay.
That's how I play. Unless I'm in the car.
Right.
But that's how and some people can't do that, but I'm omnidextrous or something. I'm just making up a
You're
word.
multitasking. You're cutting the grass, lilistening to Zioli
I know.
with the closed captioning on your little transistor TV that you're carrying in your palm.
You think I'm kidding? And I'm multitask, doing the laundry, cutting the lawn, picking up the kids, and listening to Zioli and listening to Fox.
There
I
you
know
go.
Greg's like his head's gonna blow up.
There you go.
But no, I think Brett Baer he wanted to give it a little tougher interview, but he still is very fair and very mild mannered, and so I think people are, I think, kind of relieved by that because that's his role. He stays in his lane.
Yeah, he does. He does. A couple of things to get to. We had a lot on Joe and Fetterman from yesterday. We'll get to that in a moment. This story from Axios about how mystified Joe Biden's aides really are. But I do want to get to this story from the Daily Mail when it comes to Republicans. So according to this Daily Mail study and poll, Ron DeSantis has the best chance of beating Joe Biden in 2024, but independents have a surprising favorite. Now, I have said since, and I'm actually going to go against what this poll is arriving at the conclusion of, because I've gone really in the opposite direction of DeSantis, and I'm almost more back in the Trump camp, so to speak, because I had been saying this since November that, Joe Biden would not beat DeSantis, but I don't think DeSantis could beat Trump. That's essentially what this poll is telling us, according to the Daily Mail and their partner poll with JL Partners, that shows Biden would beat Republican challengers, but Ron DeSantis would push him the closest in 2024, only trailing by a percentage point, 44% to 43%, whereas former President Donald Trump would lose by 2 points, 46 to 44. But here's the thing that's very, very interesting to me. Now, let me just give you a couple of numbers. The poll of 1,000 likely general election voters found that in a Biden-DeSantis matchup, it would go Biden by a point, 44-43. Democratic voters appeared more motivated in an election against Trump, giving Biden a slight win over Trump, 46-44, which, again, I think there's a lot of people that don't necessarily have anything great to say about Joe, maybe don't even really like the guy, but if the candidate Joe's running against is DJT, that's just enough to trigger them to get them to vote for Biden. But what is interesting, Mike Pence, the former VP, who we've talked a lot about in the last week or so, because he just really doesn't seem to resonate with many people, who entered the race last week, took 38% to Biden's 41%. And the surprise here is that independents back Mike Pence more than anybody.
Wow.
I'm blown away by that. And I don't have really a bad word to say about Mike Pence. He just is, to use a phrase of Trump on Kaylee McEnany, he's milquetoast. He's just blah. Like he's just
maybe that's what voters want, though.
Do you think?
I do. I think there's a lot of voters that don't want to. I think that's a large part of Joe Biden's appeal to Democrats is at the time they looked at him like somebody who's going to get in office and not tweet and do everything else that Trump did, and they just want somebody who's going to go in there and do their job. And maybe that's what a certain sect of the conservative independents are looking for.
Yeah, and what it tells me as well is that independents in particular are looking for somebody, that Biden is way behind, it seems, with these independents. And so I think they're looking for anybody else, and so when you think about R's are going to vote R. Mm-hmm. If you're hardcore, right? If you're an R, you're an R. If you're a D, you're a D.
Right.
So separate those, parse those out. And then you think about who is independent. And so I think the independents are in play here, and I think that they are just searching. That's why RFK Jr. is interested. I mean, we're a year and a half out.
Sure. Yeah.
But
500 and some odd days when I
504.
I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we're dissecting it 500 days out is ridiculous.
I thought the build-up for an Eagles season was excessive.
No, you have no idea.
Jesus.
I know. This is. Yeah, look. These are probably independents that lean conservative because I can't see a lot of independents that lean Democrats going Mike Pence.
Where's the 25-year-old independent single female going? I don't think they're going to Mike Pence.
Zero chance they're going to Mike Pence.
Right. They go on to say the surprise package may be Pence. He could face hostility from Trump supporters who think he did not do enough to keep their hero in office, but he also could face anger from Democrats who see him as a vice president who enabled the former president's worst excesses. Yet the poll found that he did best among independents, and against Joe Biden with independents, Mike Pence has a 6-point lead.
But I just think it reflects more on Biden than it does on Pence. That's how bad Biden is.
Yeah.
That, somebody who I really don't see any path forward for Mike Pence as far as POTUS.
Yeah.
So that shows you how deep into this Biden is, that he is. It's a disaster.
Yes.
And that's why I think, reportedly Gavin Newsom is going to jump into this. I mean, and why? Because they see the weakness of Biden. This is how weak I bet you if they put, who would you vote for more, Biden, Pence, or the fly who was on Pence's hair during the VP debate, right?
The fly for the win?
Fly wins,
Yes.
That's how bad it is for Biden. And so that's why I think the vultures are swirling.
Yes. And then lastly, on the Trump and Biden front, and we'll get to this Biden Axios story on the other side of the break coming up right around 6:50. There's a bit of a story about Trump getting fired up over the lack of coverage and also some of the polling numbers that Fox has shown him, which is interesting because he was posting this stuff on Truth. I guess this was hours before he actually sat down with Brett Baer. And he's mad that Fox is showing this Quinnipiac poll where Joe leads Trump in a general election poll 48-44. But I think the positive for that, if you're Trump, is you're within the margin of error. I mean, I think we're looking right now at a point where Trump has clearly accelerated past DeSantis by, 52% to 20%, and then you got the Pences and the Christies with 4%, Ramaswamy, Scott, and Haley with 3%. I mean, he has distanced himself from the pack, and he's also seen Joe's numbers start, basically caving in. I wouldn't be so mad about Fox showing this poll. I think the positive spin, if you're looking for the optimistic look on this, is I think in many polls right now, you're going to start to see Trump very close to Joe within any type of margin of error. So I think moving forward, now I know that Trump won't do that because he's wired only one way, but that tells me all I need to know if I'm Trump. I'm thinking I can beat this guy.
Dawn said there's nobody more unpopular than Joe Biden. There's one person more unpopular than Joe Biden. It's Donald Trump.
Amongst the masses of the people across the country?
Yes.
Who polarizes.
Yes.
And that's the issue. It's
Yeah.
the polarization.
Yeah.
It's that will people, as much as they think Biden can't do the job, will they be triggered and polarized if it's Biden v. Trump?
Yep.
And that's the big question.
And that was a big takeaway from last night as well with his sit down with Brett Baer. I guess something to the effect of if you could do it over again or if you get back in, would you be less defensive? And, he basically said, I have to be defensive because I'm always under attack and it's the only way for me to get my message out. You'll hear that coming up at 7:45 this morning. 855-839-1210, the number. We got to get to this story on the other side with Joe Biden. If you thought some of the comments coming out of yesterday, out of the weekend on this show with Joe and God Save the Queen, man, had you scratching your head, we've got a plethora of Joe Biden phrases from the past handful of years, and nobody on his staff has any idea what any of it means. This is unbelievable. This is one of the funniest stories you'll ever hear. We'll give it to you next. It's courtesy of Axios. 855-839-1210. Kayal and Company, Nick, Dawn, and Greg. We're back after this on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. June means Men's Health Month for Rescue Natural Supplements. We all know how demanding life can be. When juggling work, family, and personal commitments, you need energy and optimal health. So fear not, because Rescue Men's Health Supplements are here for you. For the month of June, save 50% on the products that guys need most. That's half off on testosterone boosters, prostate support, and more. Discover the amazing benefits of Rescue Natural Male, Prime RX, Super Prostate. No code is needed to get 50% off. Just call a rescue product consultant, 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or shop online by visiting res-q.com. res-q.com. It's not just your physical health. Men's supplements can help your mental well-being too. Again, no code is needed to get 50% off on Rescue Men's Health favorites. Shop res-q.com today, res-q.com.
Turn your home into restricted airspace. Tell incoming flights you want them diverted. The new Raid Essentials light trap plugs into the wall and uses light to attract, then trap flying insects like fruit flies and mosquitoes. Its 24/7 continuous attraction provides insecticide-free protection that's people and pet friendly. Consider air service interrupted. New Raid Essentials light trap, insecticide-free protection.
Hey, this is Pastor Devlin, frequent guest on Dawn, Dom, and Rich. I'm inviting you to the March for Life, Saturday, June 24th at 9 a.m. We'll gather at the Cathedral Basilica there in Logan Circle, and we're also having the largest baby shower in Philadelphia. Bring your new items for babies and young moms, and we'll see you Saturday, June 24th, 9 a.m. at the Cathedral for the March for Life and Philadelphia's largest baby shower. For further info, prolifeunion.org.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
For a complete list of Talk Radio 1210 WPHT's contest rules, go to 1210WPHT.com/rules.
I know you've heard me talk a lot over the years about the Chapman family team, Chapman windows, doors, siding, stucco remediation. I just think the world of Mike and Mark Chapman, and Denise has become a personal friend. She goes back and forth between Philadelphia and Florida, so we got to get together soon. But they've done such beautiful work on my home. It's not just about energy efficiency, or maybe for my husband it is, but they do great work. We've had so much work done, and we get rave reviews when people come over. Oh, I love what you did. I love this. I love these doors, the way you opened up your foyer with this wall of patio doors. That's what I'm talking about. So whether you just need maybe a front door replacement, a redo, whether you need siding, stucco remediation, interior, exterior doors, windows, whatever it is, and including if you want to customize, you got to turn to the Chapman family team. I gotta say, you check out the Nana Wall product, gorgeous wall of glass, doors and windows, and it just transforms your home. And they also offer premium architecture shutters designed to last a lifetime, historically accurate with those just gorgeous hardware options, lifetime warranty. I could go on and on. Whatever you need, the Chapman team is going to offer meticulous work, high-quality products installed by high-quality people, and they respect your family budget. Just call them. You can text. They're listening right now. Big supporters of us. 610-431-8898. 610-431-8898. Chapman, windowsdoors.com. Chapman, the name I trust with my home. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Calling on Percy to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
Download it now.
.649, Kayal and Company as we roll on Tuesday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Big 7 o'clock hour on the way, which will include what's on the cut sheet and round 2 of the news.
Some instant feedback for you, Nick Kayal.
Yes, sir.
Walton writes, your opening remarks today, Nick, meaning your big take, were done as well as any of Tucker Carlson's.
Jeez.
Penny for your thoughts.
Nice.
So, if you missed Nick's big take this morning and you're listening on the Odyssey app, go back to around 6:15 this morning.
Yeah.
And you can listen to the whole thing. So what's cool about the Odyssey app is if you don't like what we're talking about right now, like something we did at 6:15,
yeah,
you can go back at 6:15 and listen. On
exactly
the
right.
So.
It'll be probably the only time I ever get put in the same sentence with Tucker Carlson, but I'll take it whenever I can get it. Wish I had his bank account.
It's very well written and very well thought out.
Oh, thank you.
6:15 this morning if you want to go back on the Odyssey app to listen.
A lot of time to write when you have no life. 855-839-1210. Joe Biden, look, I mean, he's had a hell of a life, although I think at this point in his life, he is a punch-drunk fighter completely up against the ropes right now. And if it's not for all of his aides and all of his supporting cast and handlers, as well as the propping up of the media, he would just fall down in the ring, mouthpiece would come out, and the referee would be forced to throw in the towel and ring the bell. But the way they cover for Joe and the way they make excuses for him is really remarkable. So this story is from Axios.com. And the title of the article is Even His Aides Are Mystified, AIDS. President Joe Biden often uses old-timey expressions that confound even his own staff. That happened again on Friday when he ended a speech on gun violence in Connecticut with, "God save the Queen, man." And we gave you that yesterday in the Big Take. And you, of course, heard that again in the cut sheet yesterday as well. Even Olivia Dalton, the White House's principal deputy press secretary, didn't know what Joe meant. When journalists asked her, she replied only that, quote, he was commenting to someone in the crowd, end quote. Later, the White House didn't even respond when Axios asked what Biden had meant. Now, in Axios' column, they asked the question, why this matters. Well, Biden's quirky mannerisms and phrases are sometimes, quote, weaponized by Republicans to insinuate that the 80-year-old president is in mental decline. No, we are not insinuating that he is. We are telling you this guy is completely out of it. But Biden has been using unique phrases for years, Axios goes on to say. But even some of his aides aren't exactly sure what he means by any of them. Flashback. Biden also said, "God save the Queen," when he was vice president in January of 2017 after he certified Donald Trump's 2016 election victory. The Telegraph reported at the time, Axios asked several current and former Biden aides what the phrase meant, and several gave different answers, and some said, "We're still not sure." As a proud Irishman whose ancestors probably weren't fans of the crown, Biden may use the phrase more as sarcasm, Axios pontificates. And then there's some other wacky phrases that he has used over the years. Axios says during this year's State of the Union, he told Republican lawmakers, "Lots of luck in your senior year." I think we actually had that for you on the cut sheet. Not really sure what any of that means. Some Biden allies believe that's his way of saying good luck with that.
Yeah.
But at the time, the White House declined to tell the New York Times what he meant, and even some administration officials still chuckle about how they really aren't quite sure of what exactly he's getting at. He also did this in New Hampshire in 2020 on the campaign trail. Biden sort of jokingly called a skeptical voter a, quote, lying, dog-faced pony soldier.
Yeah, that's a John Wayne reference.
That is correct.
Yeah, John Wayne.
He has claimed in the past that line is from John Wayne, but according to Axios and film aficionados, they haven't been able to find the quote in the movie.
There was something somewhere. I know we broke this down. So, look, he has those goofy statements he makes, but the truth is, and I think we have a unique perspective from this area because he has been our sort of cousin senator, right, from Delaware, and so we've covered him locally for a lot of years.
And Jill's a Philly girl,
and she is. She's from here, so we've covered him for years. He was sharp as a tack, and he, whether it was on the Senate floor pontificating charity events, because he did a lot with Penn and Moonshot, Operation Moonshot with cancer locally. He was sharp as a tack and could riff at any event and was charming. That big grin, that he's famous for. He's a different person now, and it's not just about the silly little sayings. And I know that's what you're pointing out here, Nick.
Yeah,
there is a change, and it's a personality change. Even the way he walks, the way he moves, it's all very different, and it's more than just the natural aging process. It just feels like, wow, this guy is a different person that he was even 5 years ago.
It's really remarkable when you look at him as well as Trump. Trump was a media darling for many years, Democrat. Now he's the worst thing since sliced bread. He's despised because he's got an R next to his name. And then, of course, you have Biden, and we've played the audio that really contradicts his stance on gay marriage and everything else. You go mid-90s Joe. He was about as moderate centrist as you can be for a Democrat. And now he's extremely far left. And, some of it is, or I would say a lot of it is really not Joe's doing. I mean, Joe's just the figurehead behind the movement that he's, claiming to be a part of and represent. But I think we all realize that Joe's not running this administration. It's a handful of other people that are running the administration.
Yeah.
But it is interesting, the change in this guy. And yeah, look, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, when he was, quote, I hate to say in his prime because I feel like Don Lemon.
Don, you better keep your mouth closed.
But like when Joe was in his prime, he was combative, he was feisty, he was sharp. But now we're at a point now where he's so out of it. Yet the thing that bothers me, and it's not a surprise because we know the mainstream media always goes to the left, but column after column, pundit after pundit on TV, they just go out of their way to protect this guy. And that's the thing that's infuriating I think, for some people that might be more moderate Republican that say, yeah, Trump's got his flaws, but darn it, I know Trump gets attacked. Trump is always basically being hacked at. And they do everything for this guy to protect him, like it's grandpa.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah, I mean, there's a point well taken. And I think for Trump, he does always look like because he's on the defense. You never want that. And he's always defensive. And so he comes off because they're hammering him with all these questions about the past. People say, well, Trump, quit talking about the past. Well, they keep asking him about the past.
Exactly.
So there's that as well.
So the lying dog-faced pony soldier that he always says is actually from two different John Wayne movies that he somehow meshed together.
Oh, so he made a merger. It's the Biden merger.
It's a trans statement.
Pony soldier, meaning the Canadian Mounted Police, is from the movie Hondo. Dogface is the term that is used to describe infantrymen and was used in She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, also starring Wayne.
Okay.
For the full phrase, no one has said lying dog-face pony soldier in a John Wayne film.
Okay.
So he just combined two movies. And
yeah. But this falls in line with everything that he says and he does. You know, he always goes back and says that, you know, we lost Bo in Iraq. We know about, you know, what he experienced and how he died after he returned. You know, he embellishes his football career at University of Delaware. You know, everything that he says is like this real stretched out fabricate. And in a world where the left loves to hammer its opposition by saying, oh, that's misinformation, or that's like Joe Biden is the definition of walking misinformation and disinformation. Everything he says is so out of context, a flat out lie, or a fabrication and a major stretch of the truth. He is the epitome of it.
Yeah, it's well said. And the ocean, remember the ocean issue. He's going to build a train over the ocean. He doesn't know whether the Pacific or the Atlantic touches Africa. I mean, it's just that kind of stuff. He knew that at one point. And so that, if you don't know which ocean you're talking about, that's also concerning.
And he even said last week in one of his speeches, he goes, oh, I'm going off script again. They hate when I do that. Like, he knows he has to stay on the tracks. And as soon as he starts to wander, that's when he goes into classic Joe mode.
Yeah.
And, of course, the media gobbles it up. They love it. It's just Joe being Joe. It's just like your little pawpaw sitting in his recliner, having his Budweiser, drinking the Phillies. He's gonna tell you the stories about back in the day. They might not be true, but he's going to tell you about the stories. So, nice work from Axios. Even his aides are mystified. 855-839-1210. Dawn will have some news to kick off the 7 o'clock hour. John Fetterman gets roasted yesterday on Juneteenth. The internet never forgets. And we're back after this.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
SimpliSafe was named Best Home Security of 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. But we don't do what we do for the accolades. We do it to protect you and everything you love. Our advanced sensors, indoor and outdoor HD cameras, and hazard detectors are powered by live 24/7 professional monitoring, so you get emergency help fast. Get 20% off any new system with interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Hurts gives it off and keeps it and rolls down to the 2. And is he in? Yes! He let it go and it's intercepted. It's picked up by Josh Sweat. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Josh Sweat. Deep down the far side, and it is A.J. Brown again. Another touchdown. He steps up. He's hit. He fumbles the football, but I think he has it. Nope. Now the Eagles have it. That'll be the game. He breaks away at the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Miles Sanders, touchdown. firing the football, and it is caught by Devontae Smith.
Great catch.
Attention, air traffic control. A flock of eagles is heading to Arizona.
Ah, sweet memories. Last season was so much fun, and I believe this season will be even better. If you want your business to be part of this season's Eagles Radio Network highlight reel, email advertise@94wip.com for information. More great action is quickly approaching.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra, Saturday, July 15th at the Ocean City Music Pier on the Boardwalk.
Love the orchestra. I love it.
Joe's great. He encapsulates a Philly sports fan.
Oh, I love the music. I especially like the old songs from Philly.
The impressions of different voices is fantastic.
Charlie Emanuel.
Of course, Mal Reese.
It's fantastic. It's a love letter to the Philadelphia sports fans.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra, Saturday, July 15th in New Jersey at the Ocean City Music Pier. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
At Cherry Hill Volvo, Costco members have a $2,500 incentive on the purchase or lease of an electric Volvo. There is a $1,000 incentive on all gas and hybrid 2023 models. Explore this safe and versatile 2023 XC90 and take advantage of special financing, a rate of under 5%. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo for a full list of extraordinary offers for both new and previously owned Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit us now. We have the inventory and we have competitive offers.
Hey, Mount Laurel. We know your favorite station is WPHT. Tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
Kayal and Company's 7:03 as we kick off hour number 2 here on a Tuesday morning. Good to have everybody in. 855-839-1210. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. Mr. Stalker, do we want to make any pushes for YouTube for likes, subscribers?
Yeah, let me see where we are. Let me bring up the YouTube.
We got flagged yesterday, by the way.
I heard. Damn Ozzy.
When YouTube isn't taking down RFK interviews,
yeah,
they're flagging us.
Yeah, what did YouTube took down an RFK Jordan Peterson interview, right? Because
vaccine stuff.
Vaccine misinformation.
Vaccine misinformation.
Yeah, let's do. We only have 38 likes on today's program right now, so let's get that up to 100 if we can. And if we can get to 3.65 by 7:30,
okay.
Hit the subscribe button. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the subscribe button so we can get. Can you be the 3,650th like?
Yes.
I would subscriber. Subscriber.
I would really like to get to 4,000 subscribers before we break for the July 4th holiday.
I agree with you. I agree with you. We're only like
350 away.
Like 350 subscribers away. Like, if you're listening right now, and we know there's more than 350 people listening. Like, if you're listening right now and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for?
Exactly.
Like, it's free. It's all free. Do it.
Everything we do is free. Everything we give away for you guys is absolutely free.
I know.
You guys should be more grateful. No, I'm just kidding. You are. 855-839-1210. Cut sheet at 745. Also, 2 stories from Hollywood. Surprise, surprise. A Disney movie that focuses on xenophobia and all this other stuff is a complete flop and a total disaster for Disney. We'll get to that story. Also, John Fetterman gets roasted yesterday on social media for Juneteenth. But before we get to all of those stories, let's get to the more pertinent stories locally here in Philadelphia and all the drama that's going on in the city. And for that, we bring in the great Dawn Stenzel, and that's 7:05.
Yes, good morning. This Tuesday, June 20th, heating up. Well, right now we're at 66 degrees. We'll tell you how much we'll heat up. We are sponsored by Wawa in this edition of Kayal and Company News Live. Just some updates for you. There's a $10,000 reward being offered this morning for any help in finding a man who is still missing. And this is months after his reported abduction. We told you about this when it happened. It was back in late March when Philadelphia police say they responded to a reported abduction on East Godfrey Street in Philadelphia. A witness saw these two armed men covered in black hooded sweatshirts get out of a Ford SUV, abduct a man who was later identified as 48-year-old Wei And they threw him back in the back of the SUV and then drove off, and there's no trace of him. I mean, you're going on 2.5 months ago.
Jesus.
And no leads, nobody's talking. It's just weird. His family owns a bar in Philadelphia. Family's upset. Everybody's upset. It's bizarre. So we just want to highlight that this is the Citizens Crime Commission and Philadelphia Police offering this $10,000 reward for help in finding, just to find this man and return him to his family, to his community. It's just a weird story. And obviously there's more to this going on, but nobody's talking about it on the record.
Right.
Another update for you. Remember after the I-95, that disaster that happened, and then we learned the next day, so that happened on Sunday when the fire and the collapse happened on I-95. The next day, we learned that a young woman, a mom, had been driving on I-95 on Monday of that week, a week ago, and was struck by this metal object that was on the highway, and she was actually killed. We're learning more about her identity. Her husband, Philadelphia Police Lieutenant Anthony Panicelli.
Oh, jeez.
That's her husband.
Oh.
And just speaking out about, oh my goodness, it's just so sad. Speaking about his wife, the love of his life. They had 2 young daughters, and they're in shock over this. And so it's still under investigation. She's Karamia Panicelli, 33 years old, of Philadelphia. She was driving her 2014 Subaru on I-95 South at milepost 20.1 right near Columbus Boulevard. They're putting out this information because they're asking if there are any witnesses out there, if anybody saw, what happened. They just want more information to help in this investigation. Was that piece of debris related in any way to the I-95 collapse, etc.? That's the big question. But she was on her way to actually pick up, their baby daughter from daycare.
Mm.
It's just a tough situation.
I guess so. From a surveillance standpoint, I guess if there's any video whether it's debris falling or maybe somebody intentionally, you always hope that it's not somebody intentionally throwing something off of an overpass or.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
When we were driving to Millersville this weekend, there was this guy with a pickup truck. He had a cooler, like a huge, not a cooler, a cooker, like a grill.
Okay.
And the grill cover the wind popped it up. It was not secure on the back. There are people in trucks all the time and they don't secure. And I go, Larry, of course I'm the backseat driver. I'm like, look at that mom was just killed on I-95. And sure enough, just as I said that, the thing tipped over in the back of the truck. The guy pulled over. I took video of it. He's like, do not tweet that out.
Well, you're probably thinking, Larry, speed up, get around this guy so we're not the car that gets the
right.
the blowback if that thing falls off.
Because if it falls off and you're following too close, you're dead.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I had a little bit of an issue with my truck, speaking of things like that, on Friday when I was driving home from golf. Not a big issue, but I had my I brought this little black cooler bag, and I tossed it in the bed of my truck when I got done playing. And it was with my clubs. And as I got back on 202, the bag flew up and flew out onto the highway. Now, it's just a plastic paper bag. But
still,
it could be distracting. It could get on somebody's windshield, I'm like, God damn.
Could be bad.
Yeah.
So, got to be safe.
Are you darn right?
So, we've talked this morning already about Philadelphia police investigating these 2 separate shootings that happened at Airbnb. Appears to be illegal teen parties, one in Kensington late last night into overnight, and the second one in Strawberry Mansion. So we have 2 teenagers, an 18-year-old, a 13-year-old girl. Looks like these injuries are not life-threatening, but we're watching, there were a lot of shootings overnight and these teen parties late at night. That's under investigation with Philadelphia police as well. And we're learning more details and we'll have to talk about this moving forward. These 5 people on board, very wealthy families and prominent in the world, famous in the world. So this not a submarine, but it's actually a submersible. This thing is like, I don't know, it's basically the size of my Honda Odyssey minivan. It's only, 22 feet long?
Yeah.
So these 5 individuals are down here, way down deep at sea. We don't know what happened, but this vessel lost contact an hour and 45 minutes into the dive on Sunday. Coast Guard in a race against time, and this was one of those, it's like Gilligan's Island, but in a submersible, like a teeny little submarine. And so they were down to see the wreckage of the Titanic.
Yeah.
That's where they were on their way to, paid $250,000 each. So it's a British adventurer, a French diver, a Pakistani father, and his 19-year-old son. So they have enough oxygen until Thursday.
Okay.
We got to talk about this moving forward.
Just because you have enough money doesn't mean you need to do these death-defying things.
And I'm intrigued by the Titanic. Like I watched those documentaries, and obviously I've seen the 4-hour movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. But like the idea of going down.
You can't say you're intrigued by the Titanic because you've seen the movie. It has nothing to do with the Titanic.
Of course it doesn't. But Kate Winslet's hot.
Okay. All right.
And that scene in the vehicle is really good.
But this, I guess, one of the billionaires is sent a text, and so they're looking. Everybody's talking about this, but I'm looking at this tiny little submersible, and I'm thinking, wow, these guys are way down deep. This thing lost power.
Wouldn't get me doing that. I wouldn't do it if you gave me $250,000.
I agree.
It's like the same thing with, now I'm not afraid of going on like a big boat or like a fishing boat. I'm not afraid of going on a commercial airline to fly, but you're never going to get me in like a little one pilot, like cockpit type helicopter. I'm not going in one of those either.
Well, think of like JFK Jr., in the 90s. He, just because he had a lot of money and he was bored, he was like, yeah, I can be a pilot. And look how that worked out.
Exactly. Got no interest. I won't even go scuba diving.
Becoming a pilot is way different than paying $250,000 and going down in this tiny submersible a couple miles below the surface of the ocean. And now you're with these,
It's like these
5 guys.
It's like these nincompoops that went up in SpaceX. Like, no thanks.
Yeah. Was it a yellow submarine, by the way? See what I did there?
No, it's made of titanium or something. It's because anyway. So that is captured. That has gone viral. It's what everybody's talking about, the submersible and the search. Coast Guard keeps updating us, so we will update you. All right. We're sponsored by Wawa this morning. Wawa Hoagie Fest is back, and they're celebrating 15 years of hoagie love with $5 shorties and $6 classics in any variety. This is a deal. Got to have a Wawa. Yeah, they're making my dinner tonight. Wawa sponsors us. Hey, Phillies are hot, and we begin a new series after, really making a huge comeback. We are hot, and we are against Hotlanta tonight. So Atlanta, they're in town as we start this new series. We're both 13 and 15. Kyle Schwarber, we're banking on you, babe, to make the Hotlanta Braves not so hot.
Exactly.
All right. Let's look at the NBC 10 first alert forecast real quick here, shall we? 78 degrees, a cloudy couple of days ahead as we look at 78 today, and then the next 2 days, low 70s. So we get some cool relief with rain in store for your Thursday Kayal & Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 855-839-1210, the phone number. John Fetterman gets ripped on social media yesterday. That's coming up next, but a word from the great folks at DuckDuckGo. We all value our privacy and our security. I know that many of you feel that way about a lot of things all the time, and that certainly applies to the internet. Let me tell you why I use DuckDuckGo. Hands down the safest internet browser and search engine on the market today. It is safer than Google, Bing, Yahoo, or any other global big tech giant. And even better, they're local. They won't spy on your searches like Google Chrome does. No creepy tracking, and they block so many of those third-party sites from your private searches. For me, I'm tired of going to a golf website, and then when I go to a news website, those golf companies are hitting me up with ads all over the page of the next website I'm on. Why do they do that? How do they do that? Because they want to track you, and they are tracking you, but not with DuckDuckGo. I don't like people treading on me, and I certainly don't want corporations treading on me. With DuckDuckGo, they put an end to that right away. DuckDuckGo is available on Android, iOS, Windows, and Mac. Download today for free in the App Store or visit DuckDuckGo.com.
Make Hatfield a part of your summer menu for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Hatfield's variety of marinated pork, ground pork and sausage, ham, and bacon bring flavor to the table your whole family will enjoy. With over 24 distinct flavors that can be ready in minutes, it's food you can feel good about serving. At home or at the shore, find your flavor with Hatfield. Visit simplyhatfield.com for delicious summertime recipes and to find a retailer near you.
The Dudette Dental Group is the official dentist for the Philadelphia Eagles and would love to care for you. The Eagles trust Dr. D and his team, and you can too. With 30 area locations, the Dudette Dental Group provides specialized care like dental implants, root canal therapy, fillings, and more. During the offseason, take care of your smile and get ready to cheer on our team. Dudette Dental Group accepts all major dental insurances and has preseason specials on whitening and cosmetic dentistry. Visit PhiladelphiaEaglesDentist.com.
Hey, genius, it's the King, Howard Eskin here. You might think of me as the king of sports media, but I think of myself as the king of grilling. I've been grilling athletes and coaches for over 30 years, but I've also been grilling for years with my Weber grill from Gerhard's Appliances. From Wi-Fi enabled technology to stainless steel burners and flavoring bars, my Weber grill from Gerhard's Appliances is the real genius. And whether it's summer or winter, it's always grilling season. Grill like a king. Go to Gerhard's Appliances.
One of the best ways to extend the life of your air conditioner and prevent breakdowns is an annual check of your system. Oliver's 20-point inspection by a certified technician includes a test of all major operations of your air conditioner. Schedule your appointment for an AC safety inspection by May 31st and pay only $70. And if we find a problem, you'll save $50 on any AC repair. Call Oliver today to schedule your appointment and stay nice and cool all summer. Oliver Heating and Cooling. Peace of mind for your home and business.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Water quality continues to be a topic. Ensure your family is drinking clean, pure water with the Connecticut water system from Martin Water Conditioning. The Connecticut system removes all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap is crystal clear, all natural, delicious water. Put the Martin Water Conditioning family's passion for water to work for you. Do what I did. Contact Martin Water Conditioning. Mention DOM 2023 to receive an exclusive offer. DOM 2023. Visit martinwater.com. martinwater.com.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Many of you know I am a history buff. Celebrating our independence from taxation is at our nation's core. Well, right now, United Tire and Service is doing just that. You will pay no tax and save big instantly when you buy any Ford tires. United Tire knows everything and can take great care of you. Plus, they've got all the rebates and the best pricing anywhere for all your tire and service needs. Visit UnitedTire.com. That's UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
Crews working on the I-95 collapse are set to finish backfilling at the site today. A 9-year-old boy has died after he was found in a Bucks County pond. Search crews are looking for a submarine that went missing off the Atlantic coast on an expedition to see the Titanic wreckage.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Hi, this is Norman the Floorman from Norman Carpet. My wife thinks I'm obsessed with astrology. What planet is she living on? If it's quality carpet at drastic savings, you need to call me now. At Norman Carpet Warehouse, I stock the largest selection of commercial carpet in the Delaware Valley. And yes, we can install within 48 hours. Call 800-220-RUGS. Call Norman the Floorman to save 50% off our competitor's best price. Now that's not chopped liver.
Hey, Doylestown. Tell your smart speaker to play
1210 WPHT.
Kayal and Company rolling on live Tuesday morning. 855-839-1210. Nick, Dawn, and Greg
By the way, can I just say, if you're watching on YouTube right now, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, you just did the read for DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
They put a link in the chat section.
Oh.
It's free, so you can download it. Just click the link, and you can download it right there from the YouTube chat. So we're making it easy for people.
Very good.
If you haven't used it yet, by the way, you should.
Yes.
So when they were here, they gave us those DuckDuckGo T-shirts. So I was at Best Buy yesterday with David because he needed whatever for his video game. And so the guy right away goes, DuckDuckGo, awesome. He gives me a fist bump. He's like, I love it. That's all I use. Smart lady.
Yep.
I was wearing the DuckDuckGo shirt Saturday at the gym.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. Yeah. It's made out of a certain, the shirts they gave us is a certain fabric that just fits my my physique well.
His physique, don't.
Yeah.
His physique.
Because some shirts I don't look good in.
Yep.
Some shirts I like, man, this was the perfect one.
Richard H. Shores on YouTube says I've been using it for a year. It is a great browser.
I agree.
Yeah.
Great.
Maga Man also said that on Twitter that he's a user of it. So it's good work. I figured it would it'll fit in very well with our audience.
Yeah, I mean, you can literally just switch over. You can say, do you want to use it as your default browser, and put
Right.
And you can transfer over all your saved passwords and everything. The best is when you want to get rid of a website and you can hit that fire button.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, yeah, man.
Because as guys, we've all tried to clear our browser history.
So you don't get busted.
That's correct.
Yeah.
No, that's spam, honey. I don't know where that came from. That's not my bag.
I like, too, that I can look and it says how many things I've blocked.
Yes.
Like, you've blocked 1,886 trackers. So I'd like, they give you all that data, too.
Yep.
I love DuckDuckGo.
Really good stuff. So we appreciate them for jumping aboard.
Yes.
A couple of stories coming up. AMC, from a movie theater standpoint, succumbing to peer pressure, canceling a transgender medical procedure movie and documentary, and also a Disney film about xenophobia that flops. And also, I got to get to Fetterman in a moment, but Dorenzo just handed me this during the break. I don't know if you guys saw this. We know that RFK Jr. is definitely going to present a challenge to Joe Biden, but there's another guy who's jumping into the race, and this is pretty funny. Joe Exotic.
Oh, God.
Says he's officially on the Colorado ballot as a presidential candidate.
Tiger King?
Tiger King is officially on this is according to The Hill. Joseph Maldonado Passage, I don't even know how you pronounce his last name, but he's basically known as Joe Exotic, the Tiger King, has filed paperwork to appear on the 2024 Democratic presidential primary ballot in Colorado, according to the former zookeeper. The 60-year-old was the subject, of course, of the popular Netflix documentary during the pandemic, Tiger King, which was released in 2020. He's currently serving a 21-year sentence in federal prison after being convicted in a murder-to-hire plot, but he's not set to be released until the years after the 2024 election ends, but he will run his campaign from prison. So we've got two Joes on the D side of things. One runs a campaign from a basement, and the other guy's going to run a campaign from a prison. Tiger King announces his official 2024 presidential bid. So we'll see how that plays out. Good luck to him.
Yeah, if you're convicted of killing 5 tigers, you know, animal killer, no matter what anybody says, you're out.
I know. Even Hillary Clinton thinks that's too much killing. I mean, seriously. Come on. But Fetterman got killed yesterday on social media, and I loved it because, as we know, everybody keeps receipts, and the internet is forever. So Senator John Fetterman, when he's not talking about eateries and 95, is posting things on social media. And I don't know if it's him posting them because at this point in time, I don't know that he or Joe Biden are actually capable of logging onto a social media website or app and putting out a post. It's probably from his team. But yesterday, celebrating Juneteenth and Black Lives, and he was mocked by users on Twitter, on social media, who were quick to point out that the Pennsylvania Democrat had once pulled a shotgun on an unarmed black jogger. Fetterman goes on to say on social media yesterday, "Happy Juneteenth. Today we celebrate emancipation and reflect on the long shadow of systemic racism in America. Pennsylvania always stands by the unshakable truth that black families plus black lives matter, the former mayor of Braddock, PA, had to say, which, by the way, when I got my truck at Piazza Honda, my sales guy grew up about 5 miles from Braddock, Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
Which was a very interesting little tidbit. So we had a little John Fetterman conversation about a month ago. The post triggered a ton of replies, with some users accusing Fetterman of engaging in racial profiling, which certainly is the case, because as we know, during a 2013 incident in which he was pursuing a running African-American man, he pulled out a shotgun on him because he wrongly believed that his quarry had been involved in a shooting. Couple of posts that people blasted Fetterman for yesterday. Senator, why don't you tell us that story about the time that you chased a black jogger and held a shotgun on him because you thought he was a criminal? That from former Trump campaign communications director Tim Murtaugh said in a tweet. Quote, John Fetterman chased down an innocent, unarmed black man, read a graphic shared by Spencer Brown, a fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, which included an image of the senator wearing his trademarked hoodie. Fetterman told a local TV station at the time that he rushed his then 4-year-old son inside of the house and called the police before chasing the jogger down with his truck and confronting him with a 20-gauge shotgun by his side. Of course, Fetterman goes back to say, this was back 10 years ago now. I believe I did the right thing, but I may have broken the law in the course of doing it, and I'm certainly not above the law. It just reinforces the difference, folks, as to the way people are covered in the media when they have a D in front of their name versus when they have an R.
The fact he got away with that is unbelievable, but also that during the campaign, that was Kathy Barnett's point at the time, that she said if she had run against him, she would have made that a huge issue.
Absolutely.
And so it didn't get traction.
If John Fetterman ran as a Republican, that would never, ever be off of his record. That would be a blemish. That would be a smear campaign. Every political opponent would attack that.
Yep.
But because Fetterman has got a D in front of his name,
By the way, can I just say, going back to the Joe Exotic running for president, in New Hampshire, a presidential candidate seeking the nomination of a major party, all they have to do is file a declaration of candidacy and pay a $1,000 filing fee in order to have his or her name printed on the primary ballot. Now,
So,
this is just for the primary, not for the general.
So you just got to declare and drop $1,000.
Yeah, we should put your name.
I'll do it.
What a great.
Yeah, but he can't work here once
That's
once you become a candidate. Because I was asked to be a delegate. Remember that in Pennsylvania. Once you put your name with that, you cannot.
I think you'd be great in office.
Oh, thank you.
You really would. Absolutely.
But once you put your name in the candidate, you can't. As a candidate, you can't keep your job.
No,
Odyssey wouldn't allow it.
Well, he's not gonna win anything.
No,
but it doesn't matter. It's a company policy. I checked. Sorry to be I know I'm a.
Dawn's got the Odyssey employee handbook in front of her.
Sorry, I'm a blank killer. I'm a
dream squasher.
Yeah, dream squasher.
Soul snatcher.
What if it's just a one-day thing? You just go up there and put your name on the ballot, and then you can be.
I think I'd get more than Chris Christie.
I think you would too.
Latest polling has Nick Kayal at 6%.
This could be fun. I think you'd get more than Mike Pence. I'll be honest. I'm serious.
That's hard not to pass that.
But here's the thing: there have been movies made about this kind of thing. You start that as kind of a joke, and then the everyman. Because in all seriousness, the everyman has such an allure for Americans. Somebody who's not part of the swamp, somebody who's not tainted, and quite frankly, that was part of the Trump appeal.
Oh,
not that he was an everyman, but
right. Yeah.
I'm going to look into this more because I want to see if
there's a lot of people at this station that could actually run.
I want to. Can we focus for 1 second, please? I'm asking. I'm going to see if you can get more votes than Chris Christie in New Hampshire.
All right, let's do it.
This is fun.
I'm all in.
Let me do a little research on this.
Okay.
This is fun.
Nick Kayal, presidential candidate. Can you imagine GOP presidential candidate Nick Kayal?
But we need to find somebody who will, like a documentary crew, who will go with Nick.
Daniel Valdez.
Yeah, Valdez.
All right.
Valdez is the video guy.
and then make it into a documentary.
Exactly.
But
Valdez will go, will I finally get full time if I do this for you?
Does this come with benefits?
No, I like this. $1,000 and you can get your name on the ballot?
I don't know why people wouldn't do it.
We can put you in as a former presidential candidate, now talk show host.
I love
Nick
it.
Kayal.
Woo!
Would you rather drop $1,000 to run in a primary in New Hampshire, or drop $250,000 to die in the abyss of the Titanic?
Gosh, don't even say that. I want to know what Mrs. Kayal has to say about it. She's like, my husband's in Philadelphia. We've been doing this long distance thing. I'm coming there. Now he's what going to be on the road doing a campaign?
She hates me enough as it is.
Stop.
She would, if I got into politics, it would be over. She hates the fact that I do this show already.
Aw.
So. Brian Giles says he'd vote for you. Newman Price said he'd vote for you. So you have 3
my
votes.
vote.
And
Woo!
Dawn.
My vote.
What if the ballot was John Fetterman, Joe Exotic, and Nick Kayal? I think I could win that race.
Keith Martin on YouTube says, I can see Greg begging for Kayal votes like YouTube subscribers.
Greg's going to be like, was it Helen Gim's aunt that was campaigning out on the sidewalk and Dorenzo got harassed by her?
Yeah.
Anthony be like, could you vote for Nick Kayal, please?
I'm telling you, I'm going to look into this for you guys.
This is cool.
Okay.
All right.
Fine by me. 855-839-1210 is the number. I'm not sure I want to take the pay cut, but we'll get to a couple of other stories on the other side before we get to the cut sheet. AMC and Disney canceling movies. We'll get to that when we come back. Kayal and Company, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
On June 30th, a hero arrives only in theaters.
Indiana Jones, a final triumph.
This summer, a legend will face his destiny.
I've seen things I can't explain, but I've been looking for this all my life.
His final adventure
Give him hell, Indiana Jones!
will be his greatest.
This is it.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Only in theaters June 30th. Tickets on sale now.
Don't miss Good News in Real Estate with Deanne Katsaros and Mark Cumberland, Saturdays at 1 p.m. Find out all you need to know about home buying and selling. Considering a career in real estate? Visit PhiladelphiaRealEstateClasses.com. Good News in Real Estate, Saturdays 1 p.m. on WPHT.
Phillies baseball is in full swing.
It's a 3-run home run for Alec Bohm and a 6 RBI night.
With the free Odyssey app, local fans can listen live all summer long, whether you're at the grill or at the pool.
The ball bobbled. The Phillies win. Bryson Stott has won it.
Phillies baseball. Phillies announcers. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app. AUDACY. Get in the game and download it today.
Life is short, and if we spend our time suffering with pain and it takes away our joy, that's not a very good way to live.
He's right. It's hard to be happy when you're in constant pain. QC Kinetics patient Chad admits the chronic pain in his knee really robbed his quality of life.
When I was going to the traditional doctor and getting the pain pills, my smile wasn't as big as it usually is. Going to my high school reunion on crutches, it was awful.
But then Chad visited QC Kinetics. He experienced the real power behind natural regenerative treatments. Using healing properties from his own body, QC Kinetics was able to restore and repair damaged tissue, finally giving Chad lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime.
And I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
Learn how advanced regenerative medicine can help your body heal itself at QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000. Here's retirement phase expert Phil Cannella with today's report.
Many investors spend a lifetime building their investment accounts. You can think of that as a retirement vessel, taking you through your retirement years. And you are the captain of your retirement vessel. But if your savings are tied up in traditional investments, you risk having that vessel commanded by the government or the banks. Due to the passage of the Dodd-Frank Act in 2010, Investors' retirement savings may not be secure if their funds are sitting in a bank. In reality, banks big and small are sharks, capable of taking deadly bites of your retirement savings during a financial crisis. Rather than bailing out banks like in 2008 and 2009, the Dodd-Frank established a bail-in technique, which authorizes banks to use the depositors' funds to maintain its own solvency. Since the FDIC only insures up to $250,000 of a depositor's savings, amounts exceeding $250,000 in any bank are at a lethally high risk of being taken without ever being returned to keep that bank alive. Many depositors with struggling banks face the lethal risk of these sharks taking a deadly bite out of your retirement vessel. Find out the safe alternatives that are available to you and how you can maintain control of your retirement future by seeking out the knowledge of a retirement phase expert today.
To hear more stories that will impact your financial future, join Phil Cannella and Joanne Small this Saturday at 11 a.m. on the Crash Proof Retirement Show, only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, Percy, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Remember to take us anywhere with the free Odyssey app.
It is Kayal and Company, 7:36, as we roll on live Tuesday morning here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. A couple of good stories we're going to get to in the 8 o'clock hour. I'll just give you a little bit of a tease. A student is called despicable by a teacher after challenging a peer who identifies as a cat. That story is still ahead this morning. Oh, my God. Yes. And also, teachers are fed up with 11-year-old kids because there's a new worrying trend amongst 11-year-old kids, and that apparently is 11-year-old kids wearing diapers to school. We'll give you those stories coming up later this morning. Yeah, I think our schools are going to hell in a handbasket. I know these are just, outliers sometimes and just random stories, but I don't recall many guys in my 6th grade class in 11th grade or 11 years old wearing diapers to school. But, we'll get to that story as we continue this morning. So a couple of stories in the world of Hollywood, and this one really stands out to me. We have a story in which a movie that was essentially a documentary on the risks, which I think this is completely valid, the risks of transgender medical procedures reportedly pulled from movie theaters after a pro-trans group complained about it. That's where we are once again in America. And the movie theater company that pretty much caved was AMC. AMC's trying to get people back into theaters. We've given you those stories in the past about, how they're trying to bring you back by offering different food or alcohol or different experiences to really reignite the movie theater going experience. Well, this is not going to help, although I am surprised because this movie, according to Gay City News, the documentary No Way Back, The Reality of Gender-Affirming Care, was to be released on June 21st at about 40 AMC theaters. Now, I'm surprised that a documentary on something like transgender medical procedures would actually go into movie theaters and be in like an AMC or, a Regal Cinemas or any of these other, movie theater companies that are out there. I just never thought that was the type of stuff that you would be in demand to go see in a movie theater. But they were supposed to be in 40 different theaters until the Queer Trans Project raised objections to the content. So the QTP issued a public statement on Saturday celebrating the cancellation of the movie No Way Back. The outlet noted, the Queer Trans Project is thrilled to announce a resounding victory in our collective efforts to challenge hate and misinformation. They just love these buzzwords, don't they? The statement noted, according to Gay City News, quote, in less than 24 hours, we received over 1,500 petition signatures and reached over 14,000 individuals on social media through community mobilization and unwavering advocacy. This remarkable achievement demonstrates the power of our united voices and the urgency of defending the rights and dignity of the transgender community. The Daily Wire said it reached out to AMC Theaters about the cancellation and, of course, did not receive a response. You know, you say what you want about the transgender movement and community. I don't believe there's anything wrong because if you've ever been on Twitter, there are people that will post pictures of before and after of having one of these procedures done. And I'm not trying to make anybody get sick to their stomach as they're drinking their coffee or eating their breakfast this morning, but it's not a pretty sight. You know, if you go through one of these procedures and have a body part added to your anatomy, or a body part or parts, plural, removed from your biological anatomy, the pictures are very, very grotesque. You know, if you've ever had like a major surgery, like maybe a knee replacement or a total reconstruction, and you have a big scar, I mean, now just think about that in different regions of your body, not named your kneecap or your hip. It's very sick.
Well, think about just a few months ago, and you had something removed from the back of your head.
Yeah,
Mikhail.
a little cyst.
And you know, you prepared for it. You needed to, the doctor said, no, you can't come into work. You got to take a day off. You got to take a day off work. You have to do this. You have to do that. Think about just that relatively, simple, small procedure.
Yeah.
And as a grown man, as an adult, a father, think about what you went through. And you go in and they say, okay, we're gonna make sure that we numb everything, or we put you out, and they explain the process. It's a whole surgical procedure.
Sure.
Think about everything. And now, I mean, I shouldn't even say this, but I mean, think of your little girls. Like, think about explaining that to a child and how scary that is.
I just don't understand why everything's got to be labeled as hate and misinformation. There's obviously, this is a major procedure to go through.
Yeah.
So you have a production company that puts this together, and then because there's pushback on it, as if you should just be completely on board with that movement, which my whole stance has been, I'm not against it. If you're an adult, go ahead. But I'm sure they were probably talking about this from a teenager perspective. Like, hey, if you're 14, on second thought or after further review, or maybe you should take this under consideration. This is not like getting your nails done or deciding one day I'm going to shave my head.
Yeah, it's not a spa day. And so to be honest, I go back and forth on even some of the Florida laws and states that say we want to outlaw these surgeries. I have a friend, her daughter had one breast that was substantially larger than the other. And ultimately, they waited until she was 18 to even things out, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they did, and so that was a surgical procedure because she was extremely self-conscious, because one side was, like a double D and the other one was an A. You know what I mean? It was she was self-conscious, it impacted her, etc. So I want to trust parents that they're going to do the right, and of course they did, and they researched and they talked to doctors and they finally did it. And she looks great, everything's fine. So on one hand, I don't want to take away from a parent the right to talk to their pediatrician, their doctor, figure things out. If a child, for whatever reason, physically needs a procedure that is indeed more of a cosmetic procedure.
Sure.
But on the other hand, even this family with a self-conscious daughter waited until she was 17, 18, just because of all the things we talk about, and because it is a major surgery you're talking
Absolutely.
about. And so on one hand, I believe in parental rights, and I don't like new laws that prohibit a parent from doing something they think's right for their child.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the problem here, as a parent, we're hearing from these parents, and when their kid gets older that did these surgeries that you're talking about, and they'll say, well, the pediatrician, everybody told us this was the right thing to do for our child.
Mm-hmm.
And so the doctors, I just don't, I think people should, there are some instances, I guess, where this stuff does happen.
Yeah.
But it seems like a push, to your point, that we're politicizing even the medical world, and this is a bad place to be in.
Well, I also saw a report that said by the year 2032, this will be a $3.2 billion industry on an annual basis. So you're talking about the medical side of things and medicine and money, and of course, is this even covered under from an insurance standpoint? There's a lot of different levels of this conversation, but There's a lot of money to be made in this movement. Nine years from now, $3.2 billion.
And that's just it. I think that what they're doing is because we're hearing about foster kids and so on. And so under the CHIP program that we're familiar here in Pennsylvania, because we were one of the first states to, I think it was Allison Schwartz in Montgomery County who started that in Pennsylvania. So under the CHIP program, we are paying for some of these surgeries in part.
Of course.
And so that is happening at a state level and now at a federal level.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, to your point, I mean, do all this stuff for grownups. Push, vagina rejuvenation for women over 40. You know what I mean? But they're not pushing that.
Make vagina great again.
That's what your platform should be when you run in New Hampshire when we put your name on the ballot.
I'm gonna get a red hat that says MVGA.
That's right, baby. And you could interview. Remember Dr. Mark Solomon locally? He is a worldwide expert in making male parts larger. And it's a thing, and fixing botched such surgeries.
Not a joke.
Not a joke.
Exactly.
So do that for adults, but the money is what we're taught. You nailed it, because now they're trying to get government dollars for these kids and teens because they say, well, it should be covered under the CHIP program.
And speaking of these crazy stories and movies, Disney's film about xenophobia featuring the first non-binary character. They just had this past weekend. It opened up as the second worst Disney Pixar film in studio history. They actually raked in $29.5 million, but it is the second lowest of all time for a Disney Pixar film. It was called Elemental. It is the first Disney film to feature a character who is non-binary, meaning they don't consider themselves to be male or female. Think of Sam Britton, basically, on Disney. Shocking. Well, nobody showed up for it.
In the Nick Kayal for President campaign, okay, so your issues would be tapping into the moms and dads, the suburban parents who are sick and tired of this kind of indoctrination that's happening in schools and Disney.
Yes.
That'd be number one on the platform, and number two, make vaginas great again.
That's correct. But I gotta be very careful with the balance here, because Dawn's made some great points about DeSantis. You get too obsessed over the culture wars and not about the policies, the economy, things like that. And I think that's really why DeSantis trails Trump, because Trump's a businessman and he knows the art of the deal.
By the way, apropos of absolutely nothing, Dawn, at 6 a.m. for the 6 a.m. news, you had your hair up. I believe I like it up. You
like
put
it up?
Down now. If you're watching right now on YouTube, if you've been watching the entire show, you had it up in the 6 a.m. news. And now it's down. I think I look it up better.
Okay,
so, thank you.
Yeah, because then I'm playing with my hair because it gets stuck in the headphones.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
Stalker, do you ever put your hair up?
Sometimes.
Yeah?
Maybe I'll come in tomorrow with a man bun.
Yeah, you go hair up.
Yeah.
I'll keep my hair down.
If you're watching right now on YouTube, vote. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT.
All right, 7:48. Let's get right to it. Time for What's on the Cut Sheet.
What's on
important issues.
the cut sheet?
The important issue is like, how should Dawn wear her hair? What's on the cut sheet on this Tuesday is brought to you by Cherry Hill Volvo, where they have ample inventory of brand new and beautiful pre-owned Volvos. Enjoy the luxury experience you deserve. They always go the extra mile for their customers because relationships matter at Cherry Hill Volvo. Check them out over at 70 in Cherry Hill. Cherry Hill Volvo. Tell them you heard about them on 1210 WPHT. Kayal and Company. Actually, the vote is Greg in a man bun tomorrow.
Oh, no.
Let me just vote on this. I'm going to put no. 60% no.
60%
no. Now it's down to 58%. All right.
We'll have to bring one of those fake buns so we can make it like a big bun.
Yeah.
Check out Greg's big bun.
Because it's bigger than a normal bun.
I will get to all the Trump Brett Bear stuff in a moment, but I wanted to start with this. The United States will not support Taiwan breaking away from China.
I saw that.
Says Secretary of State Anthony Blinken amid a series of confusing statements by Joe Biden. Shocking, I know.
Yeah.
He
said the opposite back in the fall.
He says, Blinken said in Beijing after a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Yeah, back in the fall, he said something to the effect of that we would come to Taiwan's defense. Sorry, I had to scroll. We would come to Taiwan's defense if China ever invaded the island, which angered Beijing. So here's what Anthony Blinken said on the subject yesterday.
On Taiwan, I reiterated the long-standing U.S. One China policy. That policy has not changed. It's guided by the Taiwan Relations Act, the 3 joint communiques, the 6 assurances. We do not support Taiwan independence. We remain opposed to any unilateral changes to the status quo by either side. We continue to expect the peaceful resolution of cross-strait differences. We remain committed to meeting our responsibilities under the Taiwan Relations Act, including making sure that Taiwan has the ability to defend itself.
You know, it's interesting to me the differences in foreign policy for this administration when you look at 2 escalating conflicts and tension points. One already a war, the other one just kind of this, hey, at any moment China could do their thing and pounce. So we will fund nonstop Ukraine in their protection against Putin and Russia and the invasion of that country. And now, from September of 2022 to June of 2023, the administration has gone from, yes, we will obviously defend Taiwan and their right to be independent, to now we will not get involved with China. So, I mean, is this just one of these things where the Biden administration is hell-bent on funding a proxy war and doesn't want to get involved in some other escalating conflict? Or is this just because, and you saw the pictures yesterday and some of the freeze frames, Blinken and Xi together.
I know.
It was very awkward.
It was.
Like, so is this once again, China dictating what the United States does or does not do?
Yes.
It's embarrassing.
It is.
We just allow China to run us over.
Well,
in many regards,
well,
right? Like, just steamroll us.
I mean, if
economically, spy balloons.
If the reports are true, we may have a president who has a vested interest in China. Just saying.
Yeah.
Well, and Ukraine, you mentioned Ukraine in that too.
Yep.
Why are we constantly, hey, by the way, give him another billion.
Yeah. Yeah, they're giving out billions like we would be doing for New Hampshire, $1,000 to sign up for the primary.
Wow.
Like it's just an endless bank to Zelensky.
It is.
It's like a Halloween candy give out.
Yep.
All right, let's go on to the Donald Trump Brett Baer interview from yesterday. Daniel, I'm going to start with cut 9 here. Trump claims the only way the National Archive, the documents case was a big topic of conversation yesterday, as I guess it should have been. Says the only way the National Archive could get classified docs back was to ask, please. This is Trump on this yesterday.
Okay.
The only way NARA could ever get this stuff, this back, would be please, could we have it back?
And they
please,
asked for that.
because they have no. We
they
were
did
talking.
Ask for it.
No, and
they said,
I gave
"Can you
them
give the
some,
documents back?"
And we were talking.
And then they said they went to DOJ to subpoena you to get them
which
back.
they've never done before.
Right.
And
but why not just hand them over then?
Because I had boxes. I want to go through the boxes and get all my personal things out. I don't want to hand that over to NARA yet. And I was very busy, as you've sort of seen.
Yeah, but
I've
according
been
to
very,
the
very
indictment,
busy.
you then tell this aide to move to other locations after telling your lawyers to say you'd fully complied with the subpoena when you hadn't.
But before I send boxes over, I have to take all of my things out. These boxes were interspersed with all sorts of things.
Yeah, it's interesting what you actually put in a box, right? He's like, well, I've got some records, I've got some golf hats in there, I've got a lot of personal belongings. But this to me, and you talk about NARA, I think Trump is pretty much in ride or die mode with the Presidential Records Act. Like his whole case, whether he's still looking for attorneys, I know he's still trying to figure out his legal team because he's got to have, certain qualified lawyers that can handle this caliber of a case. I mean, it really is going to come down to him pretty much kicking and screaming, saying, I declassified, I'm protected, Presidential Records Act, and of course he's going to use precedent like basically the Clinton Sox case.
Yeah, I think that when you read the document at first, when I read it first, I thought, oh, this looks bad, which is which is when I've covered trials as a news person, you hear the prosecution's case and you sit in court and you go, oh, wow, this person's guilty. Because, of course, the prosecution has put a lot of time and effort into that. Here's all the evidence, and it looks really bad. Then you start to parse it and you start to look at the other side. And you hear the other side of the story and you go, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is there's more to this.
Right.
So I think that on the onset, people might say, oh, well, at the very least, this looks sloppy. It looks sloppy. Why not, deal with it in a better way? I think that the lack of precedent is at play here. In other words, we've never seen anything like this.
No.
And so that's what I think they were going on. And it's not just a couple of boxes in your attic. You're talking about somebody who, has multiple homes, has Mar-a-Lago. It's not like, your 1,000 square foot or 5,000 square foot home. And we even joked about, what are the boxes doing in a bathroom? How many bathrooms are in Mar-a-Lago, and how many what do they have? 100? How many are used as storage?
Sure.
And so we as regular American people, it's hard to put it in perspective. But the grilling on this issue with Brett Baer, to go back and forth, well, why didn't you just do that? Well, why did they do it in the first place when they never did this before? And that's where I go immediately.
I think initially when you see it, the prosecution looks like they have a relatively strong case initially because they've had the whole build-up, the gathering, the collecting of evidence. They've presented, because obviously if you're going to go there and try to indict somebody, you got to feel really good about the strength of your case. And then as the defense starts to sift through it and point out things and, put together their case, you start to feel like, okay, then clearly maybe Trump's got a defense here. Turley, as recently as Sunday morning, said that he thinks this is about a coin flip, 50-50. And I'm going to take Turley at his word because I think he's pretty bright when it comes to this.
But I think ultimately when you look at it, when you look at law, everything is about precedent.
Yep.
The fact that this is unprecedented and nobody has tested this Presidential Records Act, it goes to Trump's side of things.
Brett Baer then asks a question that I have about the audio of him admitting he took classified material.
You can imagine. I don't want to dwell on it, but according to the indictment, you were here at Bedminster on July 21st, 2021, after you're no longer president, and you were recorded saying that you had a document detailing a plan of attack on another country that was prepared by the U.S. military for you when you were president, the Iran attack plan. You remember that?
Ready?
You were recorded.
It wasn't a document.
Okay.
I had lots of paper. I had copies of newspaper articles. I had copies of magazines.
I know. This is specifically a quote. You're quoted on the recording saying the document was secret, adding that you could have declassified it while you were president, but, quote, now I can't. This is still secret, highly confidential. And the indictment cites the recording and the testimony from people in the room saying you showed it to people there that day. So you say on tape.
It says just the opposite.
That you can't declassify it, so why have it?
When I said that I couldn't declassify it now, that's because I wasn't president. I never made any bones about that. When I'm not president, I can't declassify it.
And that's what you said. You didn't declassify it.
I said no. I said I couldn't declassify it. But that wasn't a document, Brett. There was no document. That was a massive amount of papers and everything else talking about.
By the way, can I just stop it here and just say this? These interviews do him absolutely no good because he should. What I would do in these situations is plead the fifth on everything because everything he's saying is going to be used against him. Every single thing he's saying.
Do you think his lawyers have obviously told him that and he just says too bad?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Any lawyer worth a salt of anything would tell him, shut the hell up and stop talking about this. If somebody, then don't do interviews if that's all people are going to ask you about.
And to your point, Greg, what Trump should have said right there is, Brett, you know that they're trying to throw the book at me. You know that I cannot. If you were being sued, Brett, or if you were being taken to task, you know that your lawyers would tell you don't discuss this because all of this then is admissible in court. So I can't talk about the details. Overall, I can tell you this did not happen. I have the power to declassify, but this is not the reality of what happened in that room.
Here's the battle that he's also fighting in regards to, whether you're trying to win over an independent or somebody that might still possibly be on the fence. There's 3 layers to Trump in 2024. The first layer is what he's going to do in office policy-wise if he gets reelected. That's like 1/3 of the equation. The other third of the equation is all of these scandals that are going on, classified documents, Alvin Bragg, hush money, his legal battles. And then the third branch of this, or the third piece of the pie, is, obviously being hit over the head left and right again with 2020 election and January 6th. So you have those, almost like three separate compartments, and two out of those three don't really do anything to benefit the American citizen moving forward from a, hey, cost of living standpoint. It's all this drama.
Yeah.
For the average Joe out there that's sick of $3.82 a gallon and $275 grocery bills every week, they're like, I might be in his corner. I think it's a witch hunt. He's been persecuted, but I can't live right now.
Yeah. Well,
and people are exhausted.
We're going to get to that because Brett Baer does ask him a question about that, and he goes right into 2020 again. Anyway, let's finish this cut about. By the way, to back up my point, basically what he's saying here is that he never showed anybody classified materials. It was newspaper clippings. So if they have an audio of him doing the opposite, he just admitted to lying.
Yeah. Shot himself right in the foot.
Yeah.
Iran and other things. And it may have been held up or may not, but that was not a document. I didn't have a document per se. There was nothing to declassify. These were.
See, it was not a document. So if there's any evidence to the contrary, then he's doing himself no favors by having this interview.
Well, first of all, it's just audio.
Right.
There's no video. And second of all, people misspeak or misstate things all the time. But it goes to the point that I think you're making, Greg, and that is he's bragging. He's in a room. It might not have been a classified or declassified, whatever, but he is in a room, and we know him. He's always blah, blah, and he's yakking it up at an event, and he's bragging, and that's his personality. Was it really classified, declassified? Did he show people? I doubt it.
Yeah.
So the action might not have been criminal, but it's going to his personality, which is he's in a room full of people. He's talking the big talk. To me, that's what's happening.
When we visited the White House, Dawn, didn't he give you China or something? like here you go. Here's some China from the White House.
Like dishes.
No, not China. Took us back to the closet, and he gave me a silver platter that they give out to people. It's autographed. It's like sketched or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's his personality.
Yeah.
He wants to give you something. Whether
I don't
it's
disagree with you.
Making you feel special. That's his we know him, Greg.
Oh, yeah.
We were right there in the closet with him.
Yeah.
But do I think that he actually, at the end of the day, do I think that there's a conviction here? I don't, because I don't think that's what I genuinely don't think that's what this is about. This is unprecedented. And here's the deal. If you're a Democrat and you're listening right now and you think, oh, she's in the Trump cult. No, I'm not. I don't want this moving forward, tit for tat. Because guess what? If we do this now, then this is moving forward to every Democrat, to every Republican. Buckle in, because this is the future.
Keep in mind, too, with his interview yesterday, this comes right off the heels of a federal judge on Monday granting the Justice Department a protective order on its evidence provided to former President Donald Trump and his defense team in this classified documents case. Judge Bruce Reinhart, who approved the warrant to search Mar-a-Lago, granted a protective order on discovery Monday sought by the DOJ, which basically really hampers Trump's ability to say anything or go on social media and present his defense publicly via social media. I don't know if this constitutes any violation of what this judge just put into order, but in essence, it's kind of like a gag order on Trump. Which again, it's a legal thing. I get it, but it also is another moment where like so he can't defend himself. He can't. There's certain things he can't post.
But that's what they do.
Yeah, I know.
That is what they all do.
Well, I mean, that's our justice system. Yeah. Nobody can really defend themselves. I mean, he has the platform, unlike other people who can't say anything.
True.
But in the news, I think about all the trials I've covered. That's not an uncommon thing, and that's why the prosecution they're going to grandstand. The prosecution, whether it's the feds or local, whoever, the prosecutor can hold all the news conferences they want and give their side and influence the public. And then it's not until you actually get in the courtroom and you hear all the discovery that you get all of the defense.
And
that's common.
Speaking of prosecution as well, I don't know if you guys saw this story on the Trump front, but the Heritage Foundation, a Washington, D.C. Conservative think tank, they're now suing Alvin Bragg for failure to release the Trump prosecution records.
Interesting.
Yeah. Apparently Alvin Bragg lost them.
More from this clip, but also we're broadcasting live on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. We're at 96 likes right now on today's broadcast. Can you please get us up to 100 likes?
Well, let's go.
Right now. Thank you. youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the subscribe button. More from Trump and Brett Baer.
With newspaper stories, magazine stories, and articles.
I'm just saying what the indictment says.
Well,
the recording and the people in the room who testified.
These people are very dishonest people. They're thugs. They're thugs. If you look at what they've done to other people, what they've done to, and overturned in the U.S. Supreme Court, these are thugs.
The suggestion was that you wanted this as evidence that the military, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Milley, had preemptively sent you plans for a possible attack on Iran, and that you didn't order that to happen. That's the suggestion.
I never ordered it to happen, no.
But that's why you wanted the document.
I don't think I've ever seen a document from Milley. Milley, frankly, was incompetent. The last one I'd want to attack with as my leader would be Milley. That I can tell you.
All right,
but
last thing on this. There are 31 documents listed. Nuclear capabilities of foreign countries, related to military capabilities of foreign countries, intelligence briefings on foreign countries. Why do you want to hold on to those documents after you're president?
I don't say I do.
You just didn't know what was in the boxes?
With NARA, giving them back. All of a sudden, we've got raided, which is a violation of my, Fourth Amendment rights. They raided my home, and they came in and they took things. We were discussing this with NARA.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm exhausted. And that was just one clip.
I know. There's just so much. And then, he's talking over Brett, and Brett's trying to be strong and stern and keep going. And what a debacle.
So to the point that you were making, Nick, about how this plays with the independent voter or the Republican who just cares about the price of gas, the price of everything else.
Yeah.
He brings this up to Trump as somebody who's like, I'm just tired of all of this. Like, how can you help me? And, of course, we get into the 2020 election, and they argue about that.
Okay.
Wasn't with you in 2020, and so far is a hard no for you in 2024. But what do you say to that?
Looking at the right polls.
What do you say to that female independent suburban voter who feels that way, to win her back?
First of all, I won in 2020 by a lot, okay? Let's get that straight. I won in 2020.
You know that this,
and if you look at all of the tapes, if you look at everything that you want to look at, you take a look at Truth to Vote, where they have people stuffing the ballot boxes on tapes, or let's go to...
By the way, Brett Baer has to do this because of the $787 million lawsuit.
Yeah. You think anybody's in his earpiece right there?
No.
Yeah.
I think he's doing it on his own.
Yeah.
Because the truth is that you have to say what's on the record, right? And so that's the truth. Brett Baer has to say that.
And I think a lot of, to my point being too, with, whether it's the documents cases and all the ongoing legal stuff or reliving the past of 2020 or January 6th, I think there are some people out there that might be at the point where, like, man, you know what? Yeah, we're better off, for our bottom line with Trump. But I think there's a fear of people out there that Trump will make his second term a revenge tour.
Yeah.
And I'm a believer that you can do two things at the same time. I believe that Trump can, implement great policy. He can end Russia-Ukraine at the snap of a finger, seal up the border, get inflation back down to under 2% or whatever it was at during the Trump time. I believe he can do all of that and do a lot of that relatively quickly. And I also believe he can fight the battles against the media and the Biden administration and the weaponized DOJ. But I think there's a base of people out there that just say, he's just going to be on a vendetta tour. And that I think that will work against him.
Recent. Well, wait a minute. Let's go to recent. FBI Twitter. Let's go to recent. The 51 agents. All corrupt stuff, Brett.
Understand about the Hunter Biden.
No, but
all
that's cheating
fair
on the
things.
election. But that's cheating on the election.
You lost the 2020 election.
Brett, you take a look at all of the stuffed ballots. You take a look at all of the things, including things like the 51 intelligence agents.
There were recounts in all of the swing states. There was not significant widespread
We're trying to get recounts, real recounts, not just numbers of votes
widespread
cast.
corruption. There was not a sense of that. There were lawsuits, more than 50 of them, by your lawyers, some in front of judges that you appointed.
Look at Wisconsin.
That came out with no evidence.
Wisconsin has practically admitted it was rigged. Other states are doing the same right now, and it's continuing on.
There have been
It was
reviews
a
of
rigged
every
election.
potential case of voter fraud in 6 battleground states, and they found fewer than 475 cases.
You know why? Because they didn't look at the right things.
Okay,
Brad.
are you going
they
to
were
be
counting? They were counting ballots, not the authenticity of the ballot. The ballots were fake ballots. You had this was a very rigged.
Are you
election.
going to go? This is how you're going to tell that independent suburban woman voter
No,
to vote for
we're
you?
off to winning an election, and I think we're winning very well. I got a poll just recently. I have it here.
No, I know, and I watched the numbers.
I've shown you every poll. I showed you where we're leading by tremendous numbers, and we're leading with women, huh?
You know polls change. I mean, they changed in 2016 to your favor.
I thought I was doing well from the beginning, but you know.
But they changed the polls. What did you learn from your first term that you took from, and changes that you would make if you get elected?
I would like to be less combative.
Wow.
But I find the press is extremely dishonest. And if I'm not combative, I don't get my word across. If I'm not combative, I don't know. I don't think you could win. I think, regardless me or somebody else, if somebody else got the nomination, these radical left maniacs would come after them at a level like you've never seen before.
He's so spot on there. He would like to be less combative, but he's left with no other option because he is hacked at from every. I mentioned this in the big take. Has any presidential candidate or former or current president been hacked at by more of America's institutions than this guy? I mean, we've laid it out for you. They're coming after him in the courts. They came after him via the media in 2016 with Hillary and CNN. 2020, censorship, big tech. That's the criminal justice system, the big tech social media platforms, and mainstream cable are 3 of America's biggest institutions. He has to fight. I mean, what else could he do? Is he just going to roll over and play dead? I mean, that's not what Trump does. So it's hard to be. It's hard for you to change your demeanor, your delivery, and your tone when the ongoing battle that you're fighting never changes from that perspective, right?
Yeah. Trump also claims that he has 0 worries about the federal indictment.
The indictment contains serious charges, and I cannot defend what's alleged.
Mike Pence had documents that were classified.
And he turned them over.
No, he didn't turn them over. He got caught. His lawyers found some documents, and then he turned them over. Why did he have them? He shouldn't be saying that because he had classified documents. And immediately they said, oh, that's okay. And I suppose it's going to...
Let me ask you guys this. How do you think it looks to ordinary people that literally everybody, his running mate, everybody in his cabinet, everybody that he's done anything with, he attacks now? Chris Christie read all of the statements by Trump about these people and what he first said and now what he says. How do you think that looks to Americans?
Well, on this particular point, I think his point is, and he should have brought Biden into it, his point is he's being treated differently than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So with Biden, allegedly, he cooperated. By the way, what about all the documents at U of D that are still there?
Exactly.
So that's what Trump needs to come back with, not seeming to attack Pence. I think his point with Pence was he did get caught. They were looking at everybody. But I would like to go back through history. I mean, we only have 46 presidents in our entire history.
Mm-hmm.
How many of them had these documents? How many were questioned about it? How many? This is the bottom line here is
but
they're going after Trump.
But to be fair, the 37 counts that he is, is not for having documents. It's for having them and not giving them back or showing other people. That's what it's for. None of these charges are for having these documents. Not one.
What's unprecedented, Greg, is that they say that he was basically thumbing his nose. Basically he was saying, "I'll take my time with it." What the Trump camp didn't think was that they would do the subpoena because they've never done a search. They've never done an FBI raid. They've never done anything like that before, ever. They've never done it. And that's the important piece of this, that they thought, aha, we know his personality. It was a big show. And so to me, I think he needs to pivot. He needs to stop being defensive, and he needs to say, Brett, we could talk about the last election. We can talk about these documents. The truth will come out, but I want to talk about the American people. He's got to pivot away from all of this because he comes off, to your point, of either being negative, attacking, talking about the baggage of the past.
I do think that I think he's doing this for the primaries. I think once the general gets there, he will pivot. But this will help him in the primaries, obviously. So maybe this is his strategy, that he does this, gets all this out of the way 500 days before Election Day, and then once he gets the nomination, then pivots.
I think to answer your question, my answer might jump the gun because I'm not sure. Are you going to play the Brett Baer clip where he goes through all the past people that used to work for him? And because Trump basically has ridiculed all of these people. He called Kaylee McEnany milquetoast. I believe he called Bill Barr a gutless pig.
He is. Sorry,
which is great. I mean, it doesn't offend, that doesn't turn me off to Trump. But for some people out there, and they say, man, once somebody stops working for this guy, he just becomes vindictive and angry about that. But loyalty is a big thing to Trump. But here's what I would tell Trump: you might use some people, but a lot of people use you. Like Kaylee McEnany, now on TV. Like a lot of these people get on board with Trump to elevate their own career. So this whole loyalty concept, I'm going to go back to my sports days for a moment. Professional sports teams are not loyal to players that play in your city for your favorite team because there's a point in time where they will cut them and stop paying them. Brian Dawkins is a perfect example of the Eagles, the most beloved Eagle of all time. The Eagles said, we're done with you. We don't think you have anything left. And fans got mad about that. And I tried to tell people, there's no loyalty in sports. It's a mercenary business. They're hired.
Sure,
hired henchmen.
Yep.
It's the same thing in politics.
I agree.
You let your feelings get into it, and they're all using each other.
But what Trump needs to say when asked about any of these individuals, he needs to say, hey, rather than get personal about it, I will just say that any of the people I hired in my administration, many of whom came from the private sector or like Bill Barr came out of retirement, they all look at the job that I pushed them to do and compare that with the incompetence of the current administration.
Yeah.
He always needs to pivot and say, anybody I brought in during the time that I brought them in, I made sure they worked harder than any government worker ever worked,
right.
And I made sure that they performed. And at the moment they could not perform anymore, I fired them and I replaced them. That's the kind of thing he needs to say.
And there's also a lot of people that worked for Trump that don't get the headlines, like the Kaylee McEnany's, the Mike Pence's, the Bill Barrs. There's for every one or two that have gone into mainstream media or still in politics that have a following and get headlines that have negative things to say about Trump or Trump blasted them publicly, there's probably 5 or 6 people that for every one or two that you hear about in the media that probably liked working for Trump and had a good relationship with Trump. And, Trump never bashed them. So we only hear about the ones that get clicks. Let's keep that in mind as well.
I'll get back to this clip in a second. Bubba45, Nick, says, I don't 100% agree, Nick. Seems like there is loyalty with Brandon Graham, Jason Kelsey, Fletcher Cox, and Lane Johnson.
Well, now, yes. Yeah, I'm talking more about the Andy Reid days.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Just wanted to throw a little levity in here.
I like that, though.
Everybody's so serious. Calm down.
Yes.
More on if he's worried about the federal indictment.
Going to be okay with Biden, too, even though he has him in Chinatown, even though he has him in Delaware, and probably 100 times more than I have.
So you're not worried about this case?
Based on the law, zero. Presidential Records Act, plus the Clinton case, which was won by Clinton as president because he took tapes of leaders in his socks. Zero.
Okay.
Zero. And every good lawyer has said it, and you've seen that. Every good lawyer has said that.
Obviously, there are others who push back. And
this was a weaponization of politics. This was a weaponization of the White House. This was a horrible thing. A candidate that's leading, I'm leading Biden by a lot, they go out and they weaponize. This is a horrible thing that was done.
Well, let's talk about the politics.
I think he should probably be a little bit more than zero when it comes to being worried. I know Turley said it's basically 50-50, but, he's under the assumption that this is merely a political persecution.
Well, yeah, he does. If you notice, he paused there and he says,
from a legal standpoint.
From a legal standpoint.
Right.
So, there was a caveat there. From a legal standpoint, he seems to have no.
Yeah. And I think from a legal standpoint, when you look at the Presidential Records Act versus, what was the other one they're going to try to hit him with? It was the Espionage Act or something from 1917. From a legal standpoint, I think Trump should feel relatively good, assuming he can put together the correct legal team. Because as of last week, remember, prior to the arraignment, he had still not collected all of his legal minds for his legal team. He was still going through the interview process as of last Tuesday.
No, wait, hang on. I played that one already. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to. Let me see here. Give me 1 second.
By the way, Susie Cool says that Brett Baer's a political hack and he should be on MSNBC and CNN.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of. This is basically like Leslie Stahl interviewing Trump.
Well, I mean, of the big names on Fox from 5 p.m. on, I don't know that you're going to get anybody more somewhat down the middle than Brett Baer.
So finally, the last clip I'm going to play is Trump throwing a little a shade at Fox News. Ratings decline.
Yes, this was great.
Back in Brett Baer's face.
You believe that they're political witch hunts.
Of course.
But what do you say to the voter who really liked many of your policies?
They still do.
But they can't handle the scandals or the controversies or the name-calling or the vitriol. What do you say to that voter who's worried that that all leads to a general election loss?
So based on the polls, I'm leading Biden by a lot. Based on the polls, I'm leading all of the Republicans by a lot, by 40 points and more. Right now, I have the best polls I've ever had. People see this stuff for what it is. It's a political witch hunt. It's a continuation.
More independent voters watch Fox News than any other TV source.
A lot less than used to watch it.
They do watch. Those voters
they
usually make up all the difference in the election. And so to the female...
That's actually hysterical.
It's so good. Dude, if there's one guy that knows anything about media and ratings, it's that guy.
Yeah,
that guy consumes more media. He should be a media watchdog in his second life.
It's true.
Be great at it.
Did you guys play Stacey Plaskett yesterday with the Democrat?
In what context?
Okay, then you obviously didn't because you would definitely know this context.
Oh, no, about the gun? If she would have shot him?
Yes.
Yes, we played that,
Oh, you played it yesterday. Okay.
Yes.
I want to play it again.
Yeah, let's play it again. What the hell?
Democrat Stacey Plaskett says Trump needs to be shot in TV stumble over alleged mishandling of classified documents. She was quick to say stopped. But you could tell what was on her mind.
Yeah. Having Trump not only have had the codes, but now having the classified information for Americans and being able to put that out and share it in his resort with anyone and everyone who comes through should be terrifying to all Americans, and he needs to be stopped.
Oh, man.
He is terrified
Wow.
and he needs to be shot.
What is...
Can you imagine if somebody on Fox would have accidentally said that about Joe Biden?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Biden's incompetent, and somebody should shoot him. Yeah.
Wow.
It's just a slip. Yeah, it's just a slip. Freudian slip.
Karine Jean-Pierre yesterday, going with cut 3, Daniel, says Biden has done more in the first 2 years than any other president has ever done in history.
One way to put it.
I think if you look at what the president has done the last 2 years, it is more than any other president has done ever, right?
Ever.
Well, I mean, just if you thought the first 2.5 years were great, imagine how the next 5.5 will go.
Ever.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Wow.
He's the GOAT.
Ever.
Yes. If we're talking about making America last, he's the best. I would agree.
So Leah Thomas' ex-teammate Paula Scanlon was on Stuart Varney's program yesterday. She says that UPenn silenced her.
We talked about this.
Oh, yesterday?
No, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
On the show.
They told us don't talk to the media. This is what she said in an interview on Fox News yesterday.
Yeah, so our university actually just didn't really have any conversations with us at all about our concerns with the situation happening. And then once it was already a media storm and Thomas was already breaking all these records, that's when they came in and told us, please don't talk to the media, this is a non-negotiable, and he provided us with counseling services if we objected.
So that you weren't supposed to say anything at all? Was this a face-to-face meeting? Somebody said, hey, you people, absolute quietly. They said it like that?
They brought in a whole panel of individuals, someone from the LGBT Center, someone from the psychological services, and a bunch of people from the athletic department.
Then what happened? I mean, Leah Thomas was on the team?
Yeah, so this was already halfway through the season, was the first time we had a formal meeting about it. And so, yeah, Leah continued to swim on the team, and there was no changes that were made to the entire season. It just continued as if everything was normal.
Where do things stand now for college swimmers?
So the governing body of swimming called FINA, they actually put in a rule that said if you don't transition before the age of 12, you're not allowed to compete internationally. So in terms of Leah Thomas or another individual that's like that going to the Olympics, that's not going to happen. But in terms of the NCAA hasn't changed any of its policies regarding transgender individuals. It's about a year of testosterone blockers and hormone replacement therapy, and then you're good to go to compete on the women's team.
Listen up, you deplorables. You will accept Leah in the pool. You will accept Leah in the locker room. And if there's any pushback, any negativity, or if you go to the media, you will be accounted for, and we will take you out. Basically what we're saying. They silence those kids.
Yep.
Just accept it. Get out of your feelings and deal with it. He's got a penis, and you're going to live with it.
Suck it up, girls.
Suck it up. That's what they told you. Nice work out of Penn.
Yeah, great job for women's rights.
Yeah.
It's to me, that it's horrible that happened to them. And you know what? The lawyers, as Yoli always says, the lawyers always win. They should file suits. They should say that their college experience was damaged or whatever. They should file suits. That's the only answer here.
Trans feelings supersede women's rights. That's what they've told you. Get in line, ladies. There's more important stuff over your rights. After fighting for them for over 100 years.
One more, and then we'll get to Dawn's big three.
Yeah.
Joe Biden, it's a day that ends in Y, so he made a gaffe when he said this yesterday. He was delivering remarks on the climate in Palo Alto, California, and he said this. I'm doing cut 8 here, Daniel. He said this.
And maybe most important, I've committed that by 2020, we will have conserved 30% of all the lands and waters the United States has jurisdiction over, and simultaneously reduce emissions to blunt climate impact.
Yeah, buddy, by 2020, we'll have this figured out. And wait till you see what I do in 2016. It's going to be a good year for this country. Not a joke. Good God.
Day that ends in Y and a gaffe, the gaffe machine.
He does not know. He does not know he's alive.
He does not.
It's just remarkable. No. Hey, by the way, a little Brett Baer tidbit. I saw this in the New York Post this morning. So Brett Baer is unloading his Palm Beach, Florida home after a year after he purchased it. He apparently lives 5 minutes from Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago. And Brett Baer and his wife, Amy, they bought the house for $12 million. 3-bedroom, 5-bathroom estate, 4,100 square feet. They purchased it from fashion mogul Tommy Hilfiger.
Wow.
Remember back in the day, Greg, when we would have Tommy Hilfiger jeans?
Sure.
I'll never forget those days.
So he's
gonna be selling it for it hit the market for $16.5 million. So they're looking to scoop up a nice four and change million profit.
Wow.
Brett Baer's making that kind of money. He can buy a $12 million house.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know he's probably making 7 figures, but $12 million.
He's probably making $20 million a year. That's what those anchors make.
Well, that was what Tucker was making. Brett Baer's making $20 million?
Probably.
Hey, let's scratch that whole New Hampshire thing. I'm going to TV.
Soggy Donuts says his real name is Will Thomas. Is that true?
Who?
Brett Baer?
Brett Baer's got a fake name? His real name's Will Thomas?
That's what Soggy Donuts said. If Soggy Donuts says it, then I believe it.
And if it's on the internet, it's got to be true. I don't know why you would have a fake name. Usually it's a fake last name.
I mean, Will Thomas is a great news name. Hey, this is Will Thomas reporting the news, Channel 7 here.
Nothing wrong with Brett Baer either.
Brett Baer is
kind of blah, like his personality, but, $12 million, and they're selling it.
Yeah.
How about that? All right.
By the way, can I just make a plug for something here?
You plug whatever you'd like.
So on Friday, can I just say on Friday, by making that one announcement about you pedaling 65 miles to the shore to support the Families Behind the Badge Children's Foundation, we raised almost $1,600
nice work.
in one day. Our goal is $5,000, and I would like to get there.
Okay.
So Nick will be riding 65 miles from the Bend to the shore, Ben Franklin Bridge to the Atlantic City, Jersey Shore.
Attempting to ride 65 miles.
Well, we have an email from a professional rider that's going to help train you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's going to ride with you, and he's also going to help train you if you so choose.
Yeah, absolutely.
To accept it.
Yeah.
I'm going to retweet the link, but it's basically bendtoshore.org. It's Team 1210. We're at about $1,600 right now. Our goal is $5,000. Any little bit helps, and it's for a great cause. Plus, Nick is going to sweat and maybe kill himself riding 65 miles. So if you could help us in any way, every little bit helps. 5, 10, whatever you can afford. Every little bit helps. It's all for a great cause. Families Behind the Badge, Children's Foundation. Help us get to our goal of $5,000. I will retweet the link, Nick, if you can do so.
Yeah.
As well. Maybe Daniel, if you can put it up in. Oh, it's up there already.
How about that?
It's up there already.
Well, we got $1,600 in one day. I mean, we should be able to knock this out in the next 2 days.
Yeah. Team 1210. Team 1210. Or if you want to ride.
Yeah.
Ride with Nick.
That's right.
I don't know how many.
We can all curse out Stalker as we hit mile 7.
I've done this ride. It's not easy.
That's what gives me faith that I can pull it off.
Yeah.
I figure if you can do it, I can do it.
And our sales manager, Rob Kalustian, who has one leg, has also done it 3 times.
Well, he has a prosthetic, so if you met him, you wouldn't know that he had one leg.
Of course not, but I'm just saying that if a man who is missing a limb can do this, Nick Kayal at age 39 can do this.
Are you missing anything?
I'm missing a lot.
Help us get to our goal of $5,000, please. I'm retweeting it right now. If you're watching on YouTube, the link is also in the chat. So please help us. Help us help you.
I might go dry for my conditioning here, leading up to the race. July 23rd. Maybe the key to me finishing this is cocktail free for the next 4 weeks. Can I do it? It would really enhance the training, right?
I would have to put in a hundo. Wait. How about this? I will pledge $200, $300 if from now until July 23rd, is that the race?
Yep.
You stay off Twitter.
If I stay off Twitter completely?
Yeah.
As in, like,
Never
today's the last thing you see on my timeline?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Ooh.
Man.
Come on.
I mean, I'm all for charity, but, addiction's a hard thing to break. It's one thing to give up booze. I can give up the booze.
I'm here to help you.
The Twitter.
Help me help you, buddy. It's all for charity. I'm willing to put up $300.
Let me take it under advisement.
Oh, boy.
Let me nap on it.
Oh, for God's sake.
Let me nap on it.
You like that? By the way, I didn't get a nap yesterday.
No, for God's sake.
A little off my game. All right, that'll do it for What's on the Cut Sheet Part 1.
You haven't answered, by the way.
I'm politicking here. I'm filibustering.
Bendtoshore.org at Team 1210. Please help us get to $5,000, please.
Think about it.
Okay.
See what we can do. 855-839-1210, the number. Let's get to Dawn Stensland's Big 3 at 8:33.
It's the Big 3 at 8 on Kayal & Company.
Big 3 at 8, sponsored by Piazza Auto Group this morning. Since you're talking about helping out those in law enforcement, supporting law enforcement, what an emotional scene with friends and family of slain Pennsylvania State Trooper Jacques Rougeau Jr. watching as his body arrived in his hometown of Corey in Erie County. As this is being investigated, these State troopers, 2 of them shot. One remains in critical condition this morning. And for 29-year-old State Trooper Rougeau Jr., who died, we're looking toward those funeral arrangements as the community mourns, as churches and are paying tributes, as communities lined the streets. And it's just a truly beautiful tribute to this 29-year-old trooper, husband, father, who was, of course, gunned down in Pennsylvania the day before Father's Day. And so many prayers. There are also, I just want to point out, there are ways to donate for these troopers' family. There's a Troopers Helping Troopers Foundation. They're accepting donations, what Nick Kayal is doing, organizations such as that, as we think about supporting those who've sacrificed their lives, essentially. These troopers were shot in the line of duty, one dying. And remember that Lieutenant James Wagner, who's 45, he remains hospitalized this morning, a father of 3 sons who are in the U.S. Coast Guard. By the way, this remains under investigation as the sister of that shooter who ultimately was shot and killed, she says her brother was in some kind of a psychosis. But this guy actually set up these troopers, was calling 911, and then waited for them to drive by and essentially assassinated them. So a very disturbing story that's making international news, quite frankly, with these troopers shot, 1 killed, 1 critically injured. Speaking of the Coast Guard, U.S. Coast Guard, as well as from other countries, scrambling to try to save these men trapped beneath what could be, miles beneath the Atlantic Ocean, as they were taking this trip to go visit the wreck of the Titanic, lost all communication. And so we now know that these 5 members on board this missing submersible, like a mini submarine, they have maybe 50 to 96 hours of oxygen left. And they're at high risk of things like hypothermia, right? Because they're
freezing down there.
Right, it's freezing. Yeah. They're losing oxygen at the bottom of the ocean. And so these billionaires paid $250,000 each, including they're releasing these names: Shahzada Dawood, 48 years old, his 19-year-old son Suleiman Dawood. We're learning all their stories as they're fighting the cold, and just no doubt these families praying that they can get to these guys in time. Meantime, there's a story that in fact the life-saving vital equipment needed to rescue these men is caught in a bureaucracy. They have it in the UK, and it's on a dock, and they say this will save their lives, this vital equipment to finding them, but it's caught in this paperwork controversy.
Oh,
I know, in this bureaucracy. Unbelievable. So the company is called Ocean Gate, and it's a submersible, it's named the Titan. They've lost contact.
The government can screw up anything.
Oh, my gosh.
They could screw up a 1-car funeral. Bureaucracy. We have a lot of red tape here.
Yes.
Just get down there.
red tape.
By the way, can I just clarify something?
What?
Will Thomas is Leah Thomas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it's Brett Baer's daughter.
I figured that out after
I wasn't following. I forget there's a lag in the YouTube chat, so they're still commenting on what we were playing.
Okay.
I thought Brett Baer's real name is what, Billy?
It's William
Brett
Baer.
Yeah.
So he's Billy Bear. A lot of B's there.
Billy Bear?
Not Boyle Bile, as Joe said yesterday, or Fetterman said yesterday.
Wait, his name is Billy Bear? Yeah. I mean, that is a...
Well, Billy Bear was the guy who committed the murder in the 48 Hours with Nick Nolte
and just going to say that.
And Reggie Hammond.
Good job by you.
I'm looking for an Indian named Billy Bear. You seen him?
By the way, how politically incorrect is that movie now?
Oh.
I mean, come on.
Nick Nolte calling Reggie Hammond, Eddie Murphy, a convict.
Yes. And everything else under the sun.
My God. By the way, 48 Hours and Another 48 Hours, all-time classics.
48 Hours, great movie. Another 48 Hours.
It was 8 years apart, by the way.
Roxanne, you don't have to... Sorry.
Nobody knows what you're talking about, Greg. I'm sorry, Dawn, as you were saying with the news. Let's get back to submersibles.
I guess number 3, as we follow this search to save these men, far beneath 12,500 feet underwater. And so this is they're not losing hope, but desperate families of the crewmen. Remember, the crew is down there too. Anyway, there's a lot going on with that one, and that's leading national news and so on and so forth. The final story I'll just headline for you because I know you want to talk about it coming up. And this is DA Larry Krasner on Juneteenth speaking out, holding a news conference, essentially blaming a lot of the crime problem in Philadelphia on systemic racism.
When in doubt, if it's not climate change, it's racism. Those are the culprits, folks.
So DA Krasner, it's not his fault. No. It's systemic racism.
That's correct.
That was number 3. We are sponsored this morning and grateful to Piazza Auto Group. Now through July 5th, eligible military members and spouses, you save $1,000 with the lease or the purchase of a new Honda. Just visit Piazza Honda of Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, Reading, or the one that I go to, Springfield, and I think Nick Kayal goes to Springfield too, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Or piazzahonda.com, and we thank you for your service, and we thank Piazza Auto Group for sponsoring our Big 3 at 8.
Maybe Larry Krasner and Jim Kenny can get in a submersible and go into the go down to the bottom of the Schuylkill and do some deep freshwater exploration.
By the way, I just tweeted out from the station's Twitter page at 1210 WPHT the link if you would like to donate to the Bend to the Shore Families Behind the Badge Children's Foundation. Like we said, Nick is riding 65 miles or is going to attempt to ride 65 miles.
We just received from an anonymous donor a $500 donation.
What?
Yes.
Wow. Thank you, Anonymous.
I mean, that's remarkable.
Wow.
So now we're up to just over 2,100.
Somebody who doesn't want to be named just dropped $500.
That's selfless.
That is.
That's great work by you. So,
that is.
Anonymous dude or gal, thank you.
And my offer's still on the table, $300 for you not to tweet from now till July 23rd.
If I do take you up on that, you realize come July 24th, it's just going to be like an explosion, right? Like there's going to be like a barrage of tweets. It's going to be like
when his wife.
It's going to be like Tweet Fest 2023. It's going to be like letting a caged dog out. Go nuts.
Kind of like when your wife comes to town, right?
That's correct. Good God.
Just saying, it's all for a good cause.
Yes.
And I'm willing to do it.
And as I said earlier in the program, I'm going to run for president, and one of my campaign slogans will be, make vagina great again.
No, come on.
MVGA. You got to listen to the whole show if you want to understand the reference.
Vagina rejuvenation.
That's correct.
Government funded.
We're not just saying it's
why we have the Odyssey app.
Yes.
AUDACY.
Download it now, and you can
correct.
Go back and rewind and listen.
All right, coming up next, 2 crazy stories with teachers and their students as we have more classroom debacles. But right now, I have to tell you about the great people at the Piazza Auto Group. Great to finally have my new truck. Thoroughly enjoyed getting this lease taken care of and have the 2023 Honda Ridgeline truck from Piazza Honda of Springfield, and I absolutely love it. I have the Black Edition, which comes completely loaded, and right now, you have a great opportunity to cash in on 0.9% financing for 36 months through July 5th. The Honda Ridgeline that I have, if you're interested in a great truck, 280 horsepower, V6 engine, capable of towing up to 5,000 pounds. That's like 3 Chris Christies. It comes with an IVTM4 all-wheel drive that works with intelligent traction management, which includes 3 unique modes for tackling snow, sand, mud. If you're off-roading, this is the truck for you. It also comes with available Honda satellite-linked navigation system, a truck bed audio system, and once again, 0.9% APR for 36 months. But hurry, that deal will end on July 5th. If you're a truck person like me, now is the time to visit Piazza Honda in Springfield. You can also check them out in Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, or Reading. The Piazza Auto Group, now with 17 brands, 35 locations, my go-to for all things automotive. And to find your new or certified pre-owned vehicle today, just check them out online at piazzaautogroup.com.
The year is nearly half over and you're still dealing with that knee or hip pain. Enough is enough. Pills are not the answer. Surgery is not the answer. You need to call QC Kinetics right now. Hey, Dawn Stensland here. The advanced regenerative medicine solutions at QC Kinetics can give you a life without that chronic joint pain. And you can do all those summer activities that you used to enjoy. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in taking healing properties from your own body so your joint tissue can be repaired and restored naturally. Patients across America are having life-changing results. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. If you're suffering with joint pain in your knees, hips, back, shoulders, you need to stop what you're doing. Call QC Kinetics now. Get a free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can give you your life back. Call now, 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000. QC Kinetics. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
SimpliSafe was named Best Home Security of 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. But we don't do what we do for the accolades. We do it to protect you and everything you love. Our advanced sensors, indoor and outdoor HD cameras, and hazard detectors are powered by live 24/7 professional monitoring, so you get emergency help fast. Get 20% off any new system with interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Hey, it's Rich. Zioli, when you're involved in an accident, you need a lawyer to help you maximize your recovery and get the fair value of your case. You need the law offices of Thomas G. Skopanich. My buddy Tom has been serving the greater Delaware Valley for over 25 years, and he's helped many clients. With offices located in Lansdale, Montgomery County, let Tom help you maximize your recovery and get the fair value for your case. Contact Tom at scopelawyer.com or 215-624-2211.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, Costco members have a $2,500 incentive on the purchase or lease of an electric Volvo. There is a $1,000 incentive on all gas and hybrid 2023 models. Explore this safe and versatile 2023 XC90 and take advantage of special financing, a rate of under 5%. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo for a full list of extraordinary offers for both new and previously owned Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit us now. We have the inventory and we have competitive offers.
Applying to college comes with lots of questions, like where should I go? What major? Will I like my 2 roommates? What if one snores or has a pet tarantula? And how am I going to pay for all this? Luckily, when you get a Citizen student loan with Student Credit Builder, you can make payments while you're in school, which means you can start building credit for when you graduate and say goodbye to roommates with tarantulas. Learn more at citizensbank.com/one-and-done. Citizens, made ready.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. June means Men's Health Month for Rescue Natural Supplements. We all know how demanding life can be. When juggling work, family, and personal commitments, you need energy and optimal health. So fear not, because Rescue Men's Health Supplements are here for you. For the month of June, save 50% on the products that guys need most. That's half off on testosterone boosters, prostate support, and more. Discover the amazing benefits of Rescue Natural Male, Prime RX, Super Prostate. No code is needed to get 50% off. Just call a Rescue Product Consultant, 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or shop online by visiting res-q.com. res-q.com. It's not just your physical health. Men's supplements can help your mental well-being too. Again, no code is needed to get 50% off on Rescue Men's Health favorites. Shop res-q.com today, res-q.com.
Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
Rich Zioli this afternoon, 3 till 7. Kayal and Company now on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
I got something to say.
7:48. Welcome back in. Kayal and Company live here on this Tuesday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. You can always get us live on the free Odyssey app. Stream us, watch us on YouTube. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and get on in the Kayal and Company comment community. Going to get to these two school stories coming up in just a moment, but just ran down to the boys' room during the break.
Uh-oh.
It's where I do my best thinking sometimes.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
A lot of the inspiration for the big takes usually come from the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just in there. There was a couple of sales reps that were like having conversations in the bathroom, which was always a very interesting thing to walk into. But I've got a counter proposal for your donation and your Twitter silencing of me. You're surprised. Mr. Free Speech wants to suppress his own morning guy, but that's cool.
Do you hear what he's doing, Don? He's throwing back my own slogan in my face.
Right.
Because, by the way, free speech lives here.
That's correct.
That's this radio station.
I've got a counter proposal for you.
Okay.
Because that's what we lawyers like to do. It's called a counter proposal. I counter your offer. Little Joe Pesci there from my cousin Vinny. I will, because I'm going to be taking vacation the week of Monday, July 3rd.
We all are.
Okay. So I will. Now, what was your monetary figure you threw out?
300.
Okay.
300.
I will give you a 50% discount. You go 150, and I will stay off. So my last show before vacation will be Friday, June 30th.
Yep.
The next show, Monday, July 10th.
Yep.
I will stay off of Twitter from 10 a.m. Monday, June 30th until I return, or until Sunday night, July 9th, when I put out the preview tweet of the show. That'll be about a 10-day stretch. You will not see another post, not a retweet, a like, a favorite, nothing.
Dawn, should I take it?
10 days, $150 donation.
Should I take it, Dawn?
Yep. Take the deal.
Should I?
I think
take the deal.
like Donald Trump would say, it's the art of the deal.
By the way, if you're just joining us, this is all this money goes to Families Behind the Badged Children's Foundation.
Yeah, that's correct.
They are a Philadelphia-based nonprofit dedicated to supporting the families of fallen and critically injured first responders and building healthy connections in the communities that they serve. Nick will ride 65 miles.
And I think I have the bike secured. My brother-in-law is going to give me his cycling bike.
Well,
unless we have, obviously.
So we have a guy.
Okay.
Let me find the email. Did I send it to you?
Yeah, you did. I can find it. We've had a lot of people that have reached out, and
one of our did Road Warrior on Twitter.
Yeah, he sent me a direct message.
Okay.
Yes.
So he wants to just make sure you're not getting ripped off because he owns
here.
I think in like Weehawken or something.
Okay. Because we did get a tweet from NP Bixler.
Yep.
Who said, "Hey Greg Stocker, hey Nick Kayal, I am the head mechanic at Cycles Bikes in Bryn Mawr.
Yep.
We just signed up to be a supporting shop for the Bend to Shore ride. I will personally be doing ride support day of, but would love to help the entire 1210 team get their bikes ready."
Love it.
So it's good work. A lot of people chiming in.
Yeah, we need more riders too. So if you think you can do this or want to try, we can place our bets on who will finish first on Team 1210.
Oh.
I think Road Warrior might be riding with us. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, Road Warrior's a former, I think he's a retired detective.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to bet that guy's in tip-top shape.
Yeah, oh yeah. If I've seen him at events,
Okay.
I've met him. He's rail thin.
Okay.
I
had a feeling he would be.
He's going to do it in like 90 minutes, I think. David from Lansdale writes, "Hello, Greg. I just registered for the Bend to Shore bike tour with Team 1210. I am a very experienced bike rider and would like to offer my help training and riding the tour with Nick. I would help him attain the required equipment, train with Nick on the road a few days a week, and actually do the ride with Nick and team. My experience includes I have been riding my bicycle for 57 years, competing 6 Ironman triathlons, and riding my bicycle from Santa Monica, California to Avalon, New Jersey, 3,614 miles in 44 days. He did that in 2015.
Okay.
Raising $28,000 to fight cancer. He participates in a lot of charity bike rides. So David Madden from Lansdale he's gonna leave you in the dust, man.
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, you show up, you donate, you can leave me in the dust all day. I'm gonna, I'm wondering how this parlay, if I can parlay this run that I did 4 or 5 years ago. I did a 5K when I was in Nashville. I want to say that's 3.2 miles. I remember it being 3.1 or 3.2. I don't know if they call that a 5K or a 10K. And I was able to do that with relative ease. I think I did that in about 27, 28 minutes. So I'm thinking if I could do that, and I didn't really train for that other than the fact that I just do like a mile or two a day on the elliptical or a treadmill. I'm wondering what that would equate to, like 3 miles running for a 5K, how that compares to doing a bike ride. Obviously 65 miles. It's not apples to apples, but I figure if I could do a 5K at a nice steady pace, I think I can finish. Now I'm not going to sit there and say that by the time I get to the halfway point that my butt cheeks aren't on fire. I've got jock itch and my quads ready to feel like they're going to fall off the bone. I mean, that could very well be the case, but I do think I will finish.
If you're watching right now on YouTube, just comment in the comment section on if you think Nick can finish the 65-mile bike race.
Well, you can just the poll question: can Nick finish? And we'll just post that. You don't even need to include the bike ride.
By the way, I tweeted out the link to donate to Nick's ride. It's all going to a good cause. The Families Behind the Badge charity,
yes.
Children's Foundation. So the link is in the Twitter, and it's also on the comments section in the YouTube chat.
That's correct. Also, Anne-Marie just committed another donation. She throws in $25.
Thank you, Anne-Marie.
So thank you, Anne-Marie.
God bless
we
you.
are now up to 2,115.
Wow.
So we've already picked up well over $500 in 35 minutes.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's no doubt I think we will get to the goal of $5,000.
I have $2,240 raised.
Okay.
$2,240 raised.
Even better.
Yeah.
All right.
Much better.
Nice work.
Yeah.
855-839-1210, the phone number. Twitter and Instagram as well, at 1210 WPHT. We have a lot to get to coming up in the final hour of the show. I do want to get to these two crazy stories from schools with teachers and students. We're going to get to that also coming up in the final hour. In addition to the Morning Mystery Movie clip and what's on the cut sheet part due, we'll get a little bit more into that Titanic story. And then also, because the Phillies are heating up, but ESPN and Major League Baseball put out their diversity report card. And this is not really a sports story. This is, again, this obsession with DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And ESPN pretty much wrote a hit piece saying that Major League Baseball does not have enough diversity in its sport. We'll get into the details of that, and that'll be coming up in the final hour as well. So we'll do all of that, but right now let's swing it on over. Dawn Stensland with a word here for QC Kinetics.
You know, the year is almost half over. You think about this, June 20th. What are you doing? Still dealing with that knee pain or hip pain. Enough's enough. And here's the thing, pills are not the answer. And surgery should be a last resort, not the answer. You need to call QC Kinetics today. Call QC Kinetics first. This is advanced regenerative medicine, and it's a solution at QC Kinetics. It gives you a life without that chronic joint pain, and you get to do all those summer activities that you used to enjoy. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in taking these healing properties, and they take them from your own body, apply them directly into your aching joint so that your joint tissue can be repaired and restored naturally. It's a treatment that is truly revolutionary, and it's right here in Philadelphia. I had visited the KOP office. Everything is you're one and done. You go to the office, the doctors are there, the lab is there, the lab techs are there, and that's what I love about it. That's the beauty of it. Patients across America, they're having life-changing results. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime, and that's what I love about it, all natural. So if you have pain, maybe in your knees or your aching back, your shoulders, your hips, you need to stop what you're doing. Just call QC Kinetics. Call them now for a free consultation and learn how these latest advances in regenerative medicine actually give you your life back. Call 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000. QC Kinetics, will you just call them? 215-999-3000. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hi, this is Joe Metterton. PNC Bank Regional President. Philadelphia's arts community is what makes our region the place to be, and it's why we are proud to support our local arts and cultural organizations. As we announce our 2023 PNC Arts Alive grantees, they join a program that spans 15 years and $15 million. Over the years, PNC Arts Alive has helped to make arts programs accessible to everyone across our region, and there's more to come. Be a part of art. Learn more at pncartsalive.com. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Hurts gives it off and keeps it and rolls down to the 2. And is he in? Yes! He let it go and it's intercepted. It's picked up by Josh Sweat. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Josh Sweat. Deep down the far side, and it is A.J. Brown again. Another touchdown. He steps up. He's hit. He fumbles the football, but I think he has it. Nope. Now the Eagles have it. That'll be the game. He breaks away at the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Miles Sanders, touchdown. Wow. He is firing the football, and it is caught by DeVonta Smith. Great catch. Attention, air traffic control. A flock of eagles is heading to Arizona.
Ah, sweet memories. Last season was so much fun, and I believe this season will be even better. If you want your business to be part of this season's Eagles Radio Network highlight reel, email advertise@94wip.com for information. More great action is quickly approaching.
On June 30th, a hero arrives only in theaters.
Indiana Jones, a final triumph.
This summer, a legend will face his destiny.
I've seen things I can't explain, but I've been looking for this all my life.
His final adventure.
Give him hell, Indiana Jones!
Will be his greatest.
This is it.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Only in theaters June 30th. Tickets on sale now.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Attention real estate investors, PK Capital Funding, in business for over 30 years, provides creative funding for fix and flips up to 100%, 1 to 4 family properties, Far National Construction, and more. Call today, 267-266-0797.
Attention business owners. PK Capital Funding provides business loans even with a 500 credit score for manufacturing, doctor's offices, restaurants, auto repair, builders, and more. Call today, 267-266-0797, 267-266-0797.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
Hey, it's quarterback Jalen Hurts from Window Nation's Harley. You know what really hurts?
What's that, Jalen?
Aside from getting sacked by a 300-pound lineman, it's paying too much for new windows. That's why you should call my team, Window Nation.
Get 2 free windows for every 2 windows you buy, plus no payments until 2025. That could save you thousands of dollars.
You know what else hurts? Running out of time when you could have scored. So call my friends at Window Nation today at 866-90-NATION or visit online at windownation.com.
You'll make the perfect call for your home.
Hey, Ben Salem, tell your smart speaker play 1210 WPHT.
I'm
Kayal and Company, final hour is underway, 9:03, Tuesday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Coming up in just a little bit, our morning mystery movie clip. That's at 9:20. Who on Twitter today? What's on tap for the Dawn Show and what is on the cut sheet? Part 2 also still ahead. And a couple of school stories to hit on, as well as Major League Baseball, according to ESPN, doesn't have enough diversity. They got a C+ on their report card. We'll get to that ridiculous story as well. But before we get to Dawn's Big 3 at 9, some breaking news coming down in regards to Donald J. Trump, as a judge has now set the trial date for Trump's document case. That will be on August the 14th. So as the Eagles report to camp, Trump will report to court. That's the way this will work. A Florida judge has set an initial August 14th trial date for former President Donald Trump in the Justice Department's case over his retention of classified documents. Judge Eileen Cannon set the preliminary trial date for roughly 2 months after Trump's arraignment at her court in Fort Pierce, Florida. The judge said in a Tuesday filing that all pretrial motions, and I assume there will be a ton of motions, especially from Trump's defense team, must be filed by July 24th. So that is just about a month and 4 days from now. Trump and his team expected to push to delay the trial through those motions, however, making it unlikely that the August 14th date will hold. So if Trump can retain some really good lawyers and know what they're doing, which I imagine he will eventually come around to, I would expect lots of motions and lots of delays, and then this thing will be dragged through the mud.
Yeah, they're probably going to try and push this back. His lawyers will.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing.
But, boy, I tell you what, for the court process, everything's usually real slow, and it just takes time. But, boy, when you're running for president and they don't want you in office, hey, I've got my docket, how's August 14th sound? Okay, we'll clear some out. I had a couple of cases. We'll clear those out.
Earlier we were talking about how there's 500 some odd days until the election, and we're like, boy, I don't know if I can do this for another 500. Wow.
Yeah.
they're making this summer super interesting, aren't they?
Fine by me.
Dawn,
more news, more content, the better.
Dawn, what's your initial reaction on this date?
Yeah, I'm, at least they're expediting it, I guess. So we got that going for us, which is nice.
I mean, there's one of two things. Either drag it through the mud, take it as long as possible, which I would expect his defense team to do. But there's also in the event we don't file a ton of motions and we feel strong about our case, you get this thing going and maybe he's found not guilty. And because I think a lot of us are of the belief that he's never going to serve a day in jail for this. So you get that out of the way before the fall, or this carries into September. And, before Halloween, this thing is done. And then you've got a full year for your ramp up, obviously, for, the election, which will come up in November of 2024. So it'll be interesting to see how all this plays out in real time. I'm sure Jonathan Turley will have thoughts. He's probably getting prepared to talk about this in a matter of moments. 855-839-1210. We will get to these school stories coming up in just a couple of minutes. But it's 9:06. Let's get Dawn Stensland's Big 3 at 9.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal and Company.
Big 3 at 9 this morning, as I have a bit of breaking news, as I know that in the city's Kensington section, Philadelphia's Kensington neighborhood, candidate for 2024 POTUS, Vivek Ramaswamy, is right now, as I speak, just arriving there into Philadelphia's Kensington neighborhood, which Ramaswamy says really is the epicenter of and represents every failed policy imposed upon the American people, and stands as a potent symbol exposing the catastrophic aftermath of a series of ill-conceived and potentially malicious policies.
I thought the breaking news was going to be that Vivek has walked into Kensington and said, on second thought, I'm getting the hell out. And Mexico was right with that commercial they ran about Kensington.
Yeah, you got his team, say a prayer for them.
Yeah.
It's and for the people who live in Kensington, and for those zombie-like individuals who've gathered in Kensington.
What do you think the trank is like today with Vivek coming through?
It's scary to think about all the drug use, the fact that we just enable this with our policies.
He's coming up on your show at 10 a.m., right, Dawn?
Right at 10, yeah.
All jokes aside.
17 other times.
I just...
Sorry.
I just, if you ever have to go through there, I mean, cross your fingers. I don't wish that upon anybody.
I'm tired of people touring through that area and then being like, "Yeah, this is a real s-hole," and then like nothing happens.
Well, it's
not that he can not that any of these people can do anything about it, but I just yes, we know it's crime ridden.
It's like
disgusting.
a tour through the circus, right?
Yeah,
like the zoo.
Yeah, people just like to go there and look at it and be like, "Wow."
Well, it's how I feel.
Notice all this plight, kids.
It's how we feel every Tuesday morning when sales comes walking by and they're staring in the doors at us like, "Oh, that's where they do the show from." It's like I'm not a zoo exhibit. Yeah, I'm a human being.
Well, if you're watching right now on YouTube, they're all going to start filing down the hallway in about 4 minutes right behind Dawn Stensland. Yeah. So Dawn will be doing her big 3, and then right behind her, you'll see just a line of salespeople walking down the hall.
Yeah, you can tell who's late. They're like running down the hall. We should just out them on the air.
Exactly.
Just start outing them. You are late.
Yes.
Number 2 in our big 3 here, I'll just point out that there are all these experts, as this has gone viral, this frantic search, last-minute search for the individuals trapped beneath, perhaps miles beneath the Atlantic Ocean. U.S. Coast Guard releasing new information. Coast Guard out of Boston, I believe, just saying that they are trying to find this missing mini submarine. It's almost like a Gilligan's Island type theme to it. I hate to say it, but this group of very wealthy billionaires, by all accounts, one has his teen son with him, and they paid for this to go down in this submersible and see the wreckage of the Titanic. Mm-hmm. There was one report that they used a gaming device, the gamer device handheld, that it was redone.
Oh, wow.
To run the submarine. Mm-hmm. Right there, yeah. I would be out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, really? My kid's like Game Boy device redone? I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah, I'll take my $250 back and get out.
Yeah. Not going to do that.
Keith Martin on YouTube says, "Forget the bike to the shore. I challenge you to bike through Kensington."
Oh, well, that might be a more difficult task.
Sorry.
Yeah, unless you have Narcan along with your padded biking shorts. And by the way, there was these experts, a Navy commander was interviewed saying there's no way of rescuing them if they really are thousands of feet down, that these guys are doomed.
I was going to say, when they were like, well, they have 70 hours of air left, I was like, can you get to them in that? Because they're sending drones down looking for them, right?
Yeah, they're sending I guess there is some kind of technology, but this is a mini. It's basically the size of my minivan. Wow. That's how small this is with 5 people. There's who is it? Scopes? Who's that? No. now you got me distracted. Oh, no.
Sorry.
The late salespeople coming in. They're meeting. You got 4 minutes.
So they're using, so it's not being operated by humans. It's a drone effort to retrieve it?
Yeah, because, Nick, they have to go down 12,500 feet. They think that something happened where it's just basically on the bottom of the ocean. That it's on the ocean floor.
Just sitting there.
Just sitting there like the Titanic.
Cool. It's a hell of a way to spend your final 50 hours.
And so that's the worst. To me, the worst part is they have maybe 50 hours of oxygen, and they know their fate.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'd be like, I'm out. I'm getting out. I'm going to try to swim to the top.
Yeah, that's what I would do, too. Yeah. I'd be like, I can probably do 12,000.
Stay here and die or try to get out and die trying. I'm going to go out and try.
What a way to go.
I know.
It's horrifying.
There are dreams made of that, right? Yeah. Where you're stuck at the bottom of the ocean, you can't get out.
Wonder if they have, wonder if they can post like tweets from the bottom of the ocean. Does their servers work down there?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
No, and that's the thing. They were looking at their final texts.
Oh boy.
I'm just trying to see. The Coast Guard keeps. We just got another update. I mean, the U.S. Coast Guard is still holding out hopes. They are still holding out hopes. They are still calling it a rescue mission.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, the Titanic was a rescue mission too, wasn't it?
I'm trying to envision what the drone is like. So obviously it's very dark down there, so it's got all sorts of cameras and lights on it. And then as far as the retrieving aspect, I mean, I don't mean to simplify it so simple, but is it like, hey, we throw something down and it attaches to the submarine and they kind of pull it back up? Is it like a magnetic thing? I would love to see what this process is like.
pull.
Yeah. It's the size of Dawn's minivan.
Imagine in the minivan, you're stuck with like four other guys, and you got 50 hours of oxygen.
Yeah.
This is why I stay in my house.
Yeah.
And don't leave.
Wow.
Greg's like, you know what? I'm going to live to be a long, long human being. I'm going to be around for a long time because I don't do anything remotely dangerous.
I don't. I absolutely don't. Although I do drive night. Well, not so much anymore, but I drive the Schuylkill every morning. So.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Mm-hmm. It's like diving 12,000 feet. Oh my gosh. Sorry.
I was going to do Trump updates, but we just did those. So my number 3 for the big 3, New Jersey, is as Taylor Swift gets ready to kick off a 3-day run of shows for New Jersey's MetLife Stadium. She was greeted by New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy, who proclaimed Taylor Swift ham, egg, and cheese to be the official state sandwich.
Ham, egg, and cheese?
Yeah, what?
Is it Taylor ham or pork?
I got to send you this sound. He has himself on video, and he says, "Welcome to New Jersey. We've been waiting for you at Taylor Swift. In honor of Taylor Swift bringing the Eras Tour to MetLife Stadium, I am declaring Taylor Swift ham, egg, and cheese the official state sandwich. New Jersey."
What a putz.
What? I hadn't seen this sound.
Oh, man.
This cracked me up. But anyway, that's sort of trending, even though it's a little bit later. But I guess he's making fun of, Taylor ham and pork roll.
I could go for one of those right now.
Yeah.
The Taylor pork roll is phenomenal.
So that was
Taylor
from
ham or pork roll.
Pork roll.
And she's like, "Really? You're relating me to a ham sandwich? That's just creepy."
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. All right.
Might stop at Wawa on the way.
So anyway, that was my big 3 because I was going to do the Trump updates, and obviously we've done many. There's a lot of breaking news with Trump, but that's the big 3 at 9.
Thank you very much, Dawn. 855-839-1210. How about these 2 school stories? Actually, I have 3 of them, and they're just equally amazing. It's hard to believe when I see these stories. I'm like, wait, is this real life? Like these things really happen. So let's start with the first one. Teachers are now fed up with 11-year-old kids wearing diapers to school. Apparently, it is a worrying trend in Switzerland. Teachers in Switzerland are complaining about too many students wearing diapers in class because they don't know how to use the toilet. Now, I have twin daughters. They were both potty trained by, I think, 2.5, somewhere in that range. But apparently, according to this story, 11-year-olds still haven't figured it out in Switzerland. Quote, kids are going to school as early as 4 years old now. So, yeah, you might actually find some kids still in diapers. That according to Dagmar Rossler, the head of the Swiss Federation of Teachers. I'm guessing he's probably like the Randy Weingarten of Switzerland.
It really pisses me off.
It would piss me off, too, if I had 11-year-olds in my class with diapers on. Quote, when 11-year-olds come to school in diapers, that's a worrying trend. Many tots have become so accustomed to wearing diapers that they lose interest in transitioning out of the convenient but unsanitary method in Switzerland. That's a new spin on the word transition, is it not? The average age for potty training is between 18 and 24 months, according to the Mayo Clinic, but many parents seem to be avoiding the training session. Quote, some parents let it slide because diapers are a convenient relief.
They are.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So is Dylan potty trained yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
we're working on it.
But he won't be 11 wearing a diaper, right?
Well, I mean, at the rate we're going at, he might be. I mean, the kid just refuses to make duty or make pee-pee on the potty.
Yeah? Okay. Dawn, any idea as to what the latest age for any of your children was before they were officially out of the diaper and trained properly?
It was before their second birthday for sure.
Oh,
they
wow.
were like,
you're shaming me.
20 months.
You're shaming me.
Dawn doesn't play around with that stuff.
I know. It's fine.
But the truth is, I was looking back. I did a story on this at some point.
Oh, really?
Back in the day, before the convenience of these disposable diapers.
Yeah.
Back in the day when they had the cloth diapers and you had to wash it, the average age was 9 months.
Was it really?
Yeah, 9 months old. Look it up.
Wow.
Back in the day, that they would potty train kids. And so the convenience of diapers, people just let the kids go.
But the cost, like what, think about, I would think as a parent that you want to get your kid potty trained ASAP just because of the cost. I mean, I remember when my girls, I have twins, between the diapers, the wipes, and, like some of those creams that you put on when they get diaper rash, like Desinex or some of those other, almost looks like, I think they even call it butt paste.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Like that stuff really adds up. I would think you'd want to get your kid trained as soon as possible. But
yeah,
that's just a Nick Kayal theory.
Boy, to me, I thought it was easy with the boys. I think I told you this.
Yeah, you did.
And it depends on their age, when they turn a certain age, because I would just put them in a long T-shirt, let them run around the yard. They're conscious then of having to do a duty.
Okay.
And right. And so I found that made it easier.
Yeah.
But then the weird one was, when David was like, "Oh, well, Buddy is taking a squat in the yard, so can I." It's like, no.
Oh, he's a good boy. Then the second crazy student story from schools with teachers. Headline from the New York Post: student called despicable by teacher after challenging a peer who identifies as a cat. A 13-year-old girl was called despicable by her teacher at a Church of England school in the United Kingdom on Friday after asking a classmate how she identifies as a cat. The schoolgirl and her friend were reprimanded by their teacher at Rye College in East Sussex at the end of an 8th grade life education class where they were told that they could be that they could, quote, be who you want to be, and how you identify is up to you, the Telegraph reported. Following the lesson, one of the students asked a classmate, how can you identify as a cat when you're a girl? The clip, which was apparently went viral and was taken, you can find it on social media, taken by one of the students. The teacher starts off by saying, how dare you? You've just really upset someone by questioning their identity. The student replies, if they want to identify as a cat or something, then they are genuinely unwell and crazy. Gender is not linked to the parts that you are born with. Gender is how you identify, which is what I said right from the very beginning of the lesson, the teacher responded. So the teacher is clueless. The girl in the class who identifies as a cat is very ill. And this student who says, if you identify as something other than what you are, and in this case, identifying as a cat, you might be unwell and crazy, which once again goes back to my theory of these are mental health breakdowns at their finest. So I'm not sure what's going on in Switzerland or the UK. I thought America was whacked out, but apparently this is a global phenomenon, which I think a lot of this stems from the pandemic, being held up in your house, and the mental health crisis that has ensued over the last 3 years. So there's a couple of crazy stories for you, courtesy of the New York Post. We will get to Major League Baseball and ESPN. Apparently a lack of diversity. C+ is not good enough for woke sports writers seeking DEI everywhere they look. That story is coming up in just a little bit. But right now, let's get to our morning mystery movie clip.
And now, the morning mystery movie clip on Kayal and Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
I was desperate to get your attention.
Well, you got it. I've walked into a jungle. No, it's nicely extravagant, but really I can't. I'm a doctor. I'm cool.
Well, and I'm patient. Somebody has to re-examine it out. Clear us. Come up here and do it. I'll take you to a race.
Come on, I don't know what you guys going round and round in circles chasing each other like a pack of dogs on my day off.
Then have it chasing me on your day off.
I don't have a day off. I'm on call 24 hours.
Okay, doctor. Let's suppose you had a couple of days off. Sugar?
Think you know what it is? Be caller 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
Oh, how about this? A 4-pack of tickets to watch the 4th of July fireworks aboard the Titanic. No, I'm just kidding. The Battleship New Jersey in
That's
Camden,
better.
New Jersey.
There we go.
Battleship New Jersey, 4-pack of tickets, 4th of July fireworks. For more information and tickets, visit battleshipnewjersey.org. Caller 12, correct answer. That movie's a throwback to 1990. 855-839-1210, the number. See if you get yourself a 4-pack of tickets on something that will not sink. And right now, we will swing it on over to Dawn Stensland for a word from DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, I've used DuckDuckGo for a couple years now, as you know, reported about them in the news as a local company making news. Why? Because your privacy matters. And for me as a mom in a minivan, kids get in the minivan since they're little, I tell them, buckle up. I have the same philosophy when it comes to DuckDuckGo, not just for me, but for my children, because I don't like creepy, basically stalkers, trackers, following you everywhere. That's just not right. You think about DuckDuckGo, it's a browser, much like Chrome, but it is private. It blocks those trackers, and it comes with DuckDuckGo private search, which is kind of like Google, but it does not spy on your searches. It's available on Android, iOS, Windows, and Mac. And honestly, you can download it today free in the App Store, or you can always visit duckduckgo.com. And I love now that they have the newer feature, which I've downloaded, and that's in Chrome. In Chrome on in other words, on my work computer here, I have it downloaded. So they're not tracking me throughout the day. If you ever notice that, you go to buy shoes and all of a sudden you feel like, what is this appearing over and over? And so, yes, they'll give you a couple of shoe ads, but they're not following you and tracking you like some kind of a stalker. I hate that feeling. I value my privacy. And you know what? I know you value your privacy too. So you got to make DuckDuckGo your private search engine. It's now your default search engine for Chrome for complete privacy. You just download the mobile app today. And what does it mean? It means those hidden third-party trackers that are lurking on 85% of all the top websites. So the DuckDuckGo extension actually blocks most of them, the vast majority, from ever loading. What I love, too, you can see which companies were trying to profit off your personal data in the extension's privacy dashboard, and they give you that update. So I had one yesterday. They said, we blocked 1,800 and some. I thought, that is awesome. I feel protected. And they're protecting your personal data from those third parties trying to snoop on your internet activity, such as your ISP. What about your emails? That happens, too. DuckDuckGo has found the trackers can actually detect where and when you've opened a message. Ew, I can't stand that, and that's why I love DuckDuckGo. I think I said earlier I was wearing the DuckDuckGo T-shirt when I ran in with David to a computer store, and the guy, Andrew, comes up. He goes, I love DuckDuckGo. He's an expert. This is what he does for a business. He says, I always try to tell people, go with DuckDuckGo. And so the problem with using Google, they've got those hidden third-party trackers. You just don't want to go there. So DuckDuckGo, this is where it's at. You got to do it if you value your privacy. So download DuckDuckGo today, free in the App Store. It's so easy. Or visit duckduckgo.com.
It's Borgata's 20th anniversary. Come celebrate with over 20 wheels during the Road to Riches giveaway. This May and June, 1,200 players will win a share of $1.2 million in prizes, including 4 luxury golf carts and 2 Lexus SUVs. Earn entries for drawings held every Saturday and 2 grand prize drawings on May 27th and June 24th. The Road to Riches giveaway, only at Borgata. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/FREE. ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Do you want a beautiful home that's easy to maintain? I've been telling you about a great company that does just that. John Gilgee is here to tell you in his own words. Take it away, my friend.
Hello, it's John from Rhino Shield, reminding you that spring is here and Rhino Shield is ready to help you paint your home for the last time. Our permanent exterior house paint is not ordinary paint. It's a ceramic house coating that goes on like paint and looks like paint, but is guaranteed for 25 years. If your home's exterior isn't looking as good as you'd like, Rhino Shield is the solution you've been looking for. It's affordable because you only have to paint one last time, and it protects your home with a durable and waterproof coating that goes on any exterior surface. Find out why so many of your neighbors are choosing the permanent paint solution from Rhino Shield by calling to schedule your free estimate today at 844-RHINO-99. That's 844-744-6699.
Hiring is a lot easier with Indeed. Their powerful platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Hurts gives it off and keeps it and rolls down to the 2. And is he in? Yes! He let it go and it's intercepted. It's picked off by Josh Sweat. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Josh Sweat. Deep down the far side, and it is A.J. Brown again. Another touchdown. He steps up. He's hit. He fumbles the football, but I think he has it. No. Now the Eagles have it. That'll be the game. He breaks away at the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Miles Sanders, touchdown. Wow. He is firing the football, and it is caught by DeVonta Smith. Great catch. Attention, air traffic control. A flock of Eagles is heading to Arizona.
Ah, sweet memories. Last season was so much fun, and I believe this season will be even better. If you want your business to be part of this season's Eagles Radio Network highlight reel, email advertise@94wip.com for information. More great action is quickly approaching.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano, inviting you to join me this Thursday, June 22nd, for Dom Giordano Day live in Wildwood at Mulligan Shore Bar and Restaurant. Join me, producer Big Dan, the Real Diamond Band, and many of our friends. That's this Thursday at Mulligan Shore Bar in Wildwood, noon to 3. Mulligan Shore Bar is located at 310 Hildreth Avenue, just off Rio Grande Avenue in Wildwood. Check them out on Facebook at Mulligan Shore Bar and Grill. And I'll see you this Thursday, June 22nd at Mulligan's in Wildwood, live starting at noon.
For over 4 decades, Kitchen Magic has been transforming ordinary kitchens into extraordinary spaces. Our dedicated team is at the core of our success, combining expertise and creativity to drive innovation and excellence. We understand that your kitchen is more than just a space. It's where memories are made and cherished for a lifetime. We'll craft a kitchen that truly becomes the heart of your home. Discover the possibilities at kitchenmagic.com today. Now offering no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months on your kitchen remodel.
The day we all feared. The stock market went down and then kept going.
2008, when the markets lost over 50% of their value. But that was over a decade ago. Today, it's not so painful. Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group calls that financial amnesia. When you forget the pain of losing half your savings, and more importantly, ignore the fact that it can happen again. A complimentary consultation from Retire Ready Financial Group can show you where you stand now before the next market pullback. You're much closer to retirement than you were in 2008. Don't let it happen again. Call Jim Cipriotti at 610-894-7415 for a complimentary consultation. That's 610-894-7415 or online at retirereadyfg.com. You can forget where you put your keys, your glasses, or even your car. Don't forget to protect your retirement.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Dawn Stensland weekdays 10 till noon. Dom Giordano noon till 3. Free speech lives here. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
Kayal and Company, 9:32 Tuesday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. What's on the cut sheet, part 2, coming up in just about 7 minutes. Let's get our morning mystery movie clip winner in here as we have Teresa in Cherry Hill. Teresa, good morning. What was the movie clip we played for you last segment?
Days of Thunder.
That is correct, circa 1990. Nice work out of you, Teresa. You've got the 4-pack of tickets to watch the 4th of July fireworks aboard the Battleship New Jersey in Camden, New Jersey. So congratulations and thanks for listening.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Teresa. There she is. She'll be on the Battleship New Jersey for 4th of July. We'll have more of those tickets to give away on Wednesday and Thursday as well as Friday. But busy breaking news morning. About 30 minutes ago, we had the breaking news that Donald Trump is scheduled to begin his trial for the documents case, tentatively on August the 14th, assuming no pretrial motions are filed to delay this process, which in all likelihood that will happen. And now, breaking news, I'm seeing this on the Washington Post. It's also on TV right now on Fox News, that President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, has reached a tentative agreement with federal prosecutors to plead guilty to 2 minor tax crimes and admit to the facts of a gun charge under terms that would likely keep him out of jail. Surprise. According to court papers filed on Tuesday, any proposed plea deal would have to be approved by a federal judge, and it was not immediately clear what day Hunter Biden, 53 years old, might appear in court to enter his guilty plea. The agreement caps an investigation that was opened in 2018 during the Trump administration and has generated intense interest and criticism since 2020 from Republican politicians who accused the Biden administration of reluctance to pursue the case. That is a Twitter thread courtesy of the Washington Post. So a lot of big news this morning. Trump court date and now Hunter Biden in a plea deal.
Yeah, I think NBC broke this within the past 10 minutes, but it's I believe, misdemeanor crimes. That's the plea deal. Misdemeanor, it's tax related, and so they've cut a deal, and they're able to say, well, this is the U.S. attorney that for Delaware that they didn't replace under Trump. But keep in mind, here's the perspective. Because they kept him, they keep control. They still can trump him.
Okay.
Local story. But everything I'm seeing, it looks like misdemeanor plea deal.
Looks like he would get 2 years probation and enter a diversion program, which is essentially, be clean for 2 years, and then we kind of wipe it off the record type of deal.
Yes. Rehab.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
which is probably fitting for that guy.
No, I don't see that this involves that separate gun possession charge, but I guess that would be dismissed if he meets the conditions on this deal.
And I'm sure Joe will have plenty to say when he's asked about it the next time he decides to grace the public with his presence. His son's a good guy.
And by the way, when have you ever heard of a federal misdemeanor?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a sweet little deal.
Oh, of course.
Because I'm sure if any of us failed to pay our taxes,
yeah,
we just, plead to a federal, misdemeanor.
Federal misdemeanor. Yeah, 2 years probation, diversion program, and then you're all good, buddy. Go on your way and live your life. Scumbag.
And this was a 5-year investigation.
Yep.
So how much did it cost us?
Yeah. Way too much. I'll take way too much for 1,000, Alex. And you know what they'll do now? You'll get the spin. Well, see, we're trying to go through the process fairly with Trump and his case, and we're handling Hunter Biden, and we've got our ongoing investigation with Joe and his classified documents. I wonder deep down inside if all the powers that be would just like to wash their hands with both guys and have two totally different contenders for 2024.
But who went to jail and was in solitary for dealings with foreign entities? Remember this? And did not report it on his taxes. Was that Paul Manafort? Ooh. Now I'm trying to remember. I've read so many of these people's books, but I think it was Manafort. Went to prison and got the whole shame, perp walk, the whole thing, tarred and feathered, and went to prison and was put in solitary confinement for accused of doing the same thing that Hunter was accused of.
Mm-hmm. According to this article that Dorenzo just ran into me, the court papers indicate the younger Biden has tentatively agreed to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges of failure to pay in 2017 and 2018. The combined tax liability is roughly $1.2 million over those years. And this guy gets off with basically a slap on the wrist.
But and I'm looking up Manafort because I had to refresh my memory. So he went to prison for 2 years. He served much of it in solitary, and he was accused of not paying taxes on income that he earned from Ukrainian political consulting with those foreign entities. So you have to notify, and then you have to pay your taxes, 2 sets of things. That's exactly what Hunter was accused of.
So wait, Manafort was in solitary confinement?
If you read his book, that was part of it, that he spent a good portion of that in solitary, they said, for his protection.
Oh, okay.
But still,
yeah,
2 years.
Yep. And this guy gets 2 years probation and a diversion program. Hi, my name is Hunter, and I have a problem. He'll be at those meetings.
Yeah,
very good. Equal justice. So there you have it. Big breaking news day this morning. How about that? Trump and Biden. All right. 9:39. Let's get to.
Do you buy it as a coincidence that both these news?
No, it's funny how they in the order they come out as well, right? Like at 9 o'clock we hear about Trump, and then let's just throw Hunter a little nibble here at 9:30.
The dog days of summer when nothing happens.
Days of summer. Yeah. All right, let's get to what is on the cut sheet part 2.
What's on the cut sheet?
Part 2. What's on the cut sheet part 2 this morning? This Tuesday morning is sponsored by United Tire. Celebrating our independence from taxation is at our nation's core. Right now, United Tire and Service is doing just that. You will pay no tax and save big instantly when you buy any 4 tires. Get me on board with this one. Get all the rebates and the best pricing anywhere. Visit UnitedTire.com. UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Drive United. Wow, no tax.
That sounds like Hunter Biden.
I love that. Thank you, United Tire, for sponsoring the ever-important What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2. By the way, there's a United Tire right there in Willow Grove that I frequent. So,
there you go.
I'm not just a spokesperson, I'm also a client. Like Cy Sperling.
Cy Sperling. And his now defunct hair club for men.
Tony Blinken, we played a clip from him earlier. He sat down for an interview with NBC News. Lester Holt aired a snippet of it last night. And he basically said, look, the spy balloon chapter is closed if China doesn't do it again. So he gave him a stern talking to, and as long as you don't do it again,
we won't shoot you out of the sky.
It's fine. Yeah. We're good. Here's Tony Blinken.
So with Beijing, the balloon incident is over. It's water under the bridge.
We did what we needed to do to protect our interests. We said what we needed to say and made clear what we needed to make clear in terms of this not happening again. And so, as long as it doesn't, that chapter should be closed.
That's the same way I treat my daughters when they make a mistake. Don't do it again, and Daddy won't be mad. But let's keep this in mind here. So the spy balloon goes across all of our nuclear facilities, gathers intel and data in real time.
Yep.
And once it gets back across the country, over the Atlantic, we shoot it down. And then this administration will try to say, well, we took it out over sea. You don't think that the data they were collecting was transmitted back to China in real time? You think China was waiting for that balloon to come all the way back to their country, and then they were going to pluck the intel out of it?
I mean, look, China gave us their word that they will never do it again.
Good as gold.
And the case is closed
as
far as the United States is concerned. Why would anybody think that we're China's B word?
And by the way, why is there no H in Anthony's first name? I know it's Anthony, but
Anthony?
Who came up with Anthony?
Yeah, it's annoying.
You couldn't throw the H in there?
Tony Blinken.
Yeah, Tony Blinken.
Did you guys play Maryland Governor Wes Moore yesterday?
No.
Okay. Since I was not aware of the cuts that were played on yesterday's program, I just kind of had to make them up. He was on with Jen Psaki, saying that book banning, book banning is a big topic of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Book banning is castrating our children.
Castrating
our children.
Okay.
Before I let you go, I want to ask you about book bans. A lot of the focus has been on African American history and literature. Why do you think this has become a passion project of some conservatives?
I continue hearing people making the argument that we're doing it because we want to prevent our students from having discomfort or guilt, because we don't want our students to be able to really wrestle with these really difficult things in times when they're maturing as individuals. and difficult historical points. But the thing I realized, and I wanted to speak out about it, is that's actually not true. It's a guise.
It's not about making kids uncomfortable.
It's not about making kids feel uncomfortable. It's about telling other kids that they shouldn't understand their own power. It's castrating them.
Telling African American kids they should not understand their own power.
Because if you know your history, you know your power. The reason that I know that every single day I can stand in my own skin and I can stand in my own power is because I know my history.
So it's grammatical castration is what they're calling it. Normally I would sit there and defend, what is being taken out of books and ridicule those that don't read these syllabuses and what the actual agenda entails. But I'm going to take a different spin and a different answer to it this time. It's really amazing that the left actually has the audacity to get offended and bothered by any sort of ban, when the reality, all the left does is cancel, silence, ban, and suppress. If they don't like things, they just get rid of them, right?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden the conservatives start saying, you know what, no, we don't need this left-wing gender ideology or racial theories and CRTs, and let's just focus on the facts and remove some, political indoctrination to some context of some stuff. And all of a sudden, the poop hits the fan.
The final two cuts I'm going to play for part 2 are Rashida Jones is the new CEO, I guess, or president of MSNBC.
Mm-hmm.
And she sat down with a in-depth conversation with Sarah Fisher from Axios and talking about the strategy of MSNBC. They're in the news a lot lately because they have overtaken Fox as the new cable news ratings winner.
So she's pulling a Chris Licht. She's interjecting herself into the story now.
Look, if you are the president and somebody like Axios wants to sit down with you, do you say no?
My rule of thumb is if you're in that role, you stay off the air.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's fine. We can talk about it.
So I shouldn't be on the air?
Well, no, you're part of the show, but she's not. Now, if she was president and had a time slot, then I can understand it.
Okay. What is their strategy for 2024? This is what she said.
So one of our big focuses is to find ways to hear from more voters. I think, and we talk about this after every election, midterm in general, how do we get to the people in the middle of the country who are not necessarily where our offices are, and how do we really immerse ourselves into those communities and tell their stories? And so,
by the way, what she's basically saying is we're the cultural elite.
Yeah.
And we need to get out of New York and
That's correct.
Los Angeles.
And reach middle America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shocking, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that Fox News' strategy 30 years ago
But
when they started?
I would also ask her, what data do you have that you have viewers in the middle of America?
Yeah.
Right?
They don't.
They don't. So
no.
I don't know that it's necessarily a sound strategy.
She continues.
We just announced last week our embed class. Those guys are very excited to get out into the real world, so to speak, and to find those viewers, voters, and tell those stories. So that's a big focus for us. And then I would also say just being everywhere. The ecosystem has changed. You guys have covered this a lot. If you go back 4 years ago and how people were consuming and where people were consuming, it looks different from today. And so as a brand where people do come to us and trust us for information, how can I bring that same value in the digital space? Whether it's text publishing, whether it's video, whether it's streaming, whether it's YouTube, all of these places. And so I think for us, how can we channel the value that we have in addition to the linear channel? It's not instead of, because our linear channel is growing at a time where most other linear channels are declining. So we've got to hold that mainstay, but then we've got to appear in everywhere else.
I would also ask her, and I don't know if she was taking a Q&A or if that was like a press conference setting. I would ask her, is there, any interest in hiring Don Lemon? I would love to know.
You will respect me. You will watch me.
Yes. Well, nobody did on CNN, but maybe on MSNBC you could.
Finally, she was asked on whether she would put Trump on air in a town hall format. We know that CNN had a lot of success with that.
Yep.
This is what she said to that.
So I have a couple thoughts there. One, we're having conversations with all of the candidates across our entire news group about how to bring their point of view to the audience. There are lots of ways to do that, whether it's a live interview, whether it's a tape interview, whether it's a town hall, whether it's a debate. We still have 505 days left until Election Day.
Counting down each
Not that
day.
I'm counting. And I think there are many ways that you can approach that. I don't know that a town hall tomorrow is something that our audience is looking for, or any audience, but as you look at the next 505 days, I think you'll see a lot of that across the portfolio.
But if Trump came to you specifically and says, I want to be on your air to do it, would you say yes?
When I say yes to that, it would be a conversation. I think you have to put parameters about how to control the environment.
Parameters on how to control the environment. So we will not do a Caitlin Collins town hall. And, you know, let me ask you this as well, because I got some tweets last night, speaking of Trump and doing interviews. The Bret Baier interview was obviously taped. Has every Fox News Trump sit-down now been taped in this calendar year? The Hannity one was taped.
Was it?
Bret Baier was taped. I got some tweets last night saying that Fox is cowardly for only airing taped interviews of Trump, which obviously gives them the control of, you know, editing and trimming and things like that. Not that I noticed really any of that last night, and I can usually pick up on it with like a keen eye. But I see no shot in hell MSNBC ever puts Trump on. Ever.
There's zero chance.
Nor would he go there.
Well,
nor should he.
I mean,
what's he going to gain? It's going to. And here's the reason why I say that it won't happen. We just heard Rachel Maddow last week when Trump returned from Miami to Bedminster.
Yep.
We have made an editorial decision on the air live that we will not cut into what is basically an election campaign speech.
Yep.
So there you go. All right, you got the blueprint from MSNBC.
Yep.
They got to be feeling good about themselves, though. Honestly, I mean, you know, with them beating Fox in some spots right now, you know, they've kind of become number one in a few areas.
For now.
For now. We'll see. All right, that'll do it for What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2. Let's find out 10 minutes out. It's 9:50. What's on tap for the Dawn Show this morning at 10 o'clock?
Yeah, coming up, a lot of updates for you. And by the way, there's a Pennsylvania connection to Manafort. I'm going to update that and compare that with the Hunter Biden thing because there's a lot being released, and that's a breaking news story happening. But Vivek Ramaswamy is in Kensington as I speak right now. So his immediate reaction, why it was important to him as he's traveling the country. And yes, as a 37-year-old, never has been a political candidate for anything before, worth more than $500 million. Anyway, that's a breaking news story. He's in Kensington, bringing the national media here once again, and we'll talk to him as to why he's here. We'll preview that. And then coming up in the 11 a.m. hour, we will preview a couple of things. What's happening with the trans movement as far as local schools, national schools, some shocking audio that I just found. As well, you'll hear more about these Pennsylvania state troopers who were shot literally by a cop hunter and accused cop killer. All coming up.
All right. Excuse me.
You all right there?
I got you all choked up, Nick
a little
Kayal.
Emotional. Police. I'm a big police guy. So that'll do it for us. We wrap it up here on this Tuesday morning. It's 9:51. Let's find out who won Twitter today.
Who won Twitter?
Mike Carr wins Twitter at Blessed One. He says Trump needs to stop talking about court cases and documents and focus on the horrible job Biden is doing and how much better the economy was under Trump. I believe Mike Carr speaks for a lot of Republicans and people on Twitter. Maybe not people on Twitter, but I think he speaks for a lot of conservatives and Republicans listening.
Yeah, and he did that last night, and there's a lot of times where he will do that. But you know, if the interviewer is going to always ask the interviewee about January 20th, about January 6th, about court cases, about documents, if everything is going to be in the past tense, the guy has to answer it. Then he obviously gets combative because the way he's always under attack. Now, if every question is about today moving forward, then I don't think he goes down that road as frequently as he does. So I think a lot of it certainly depends on what the agenda of the person doing the interview is, whether it's Billy Bret Baier, William Bret Baier.
I'm telling you, he should have just gone with Billy Baier. Billy Baier reporting on Fox News.
Yep. That's how you boost the 6 o'clock hour.
That's what I would do.
That's
Billy
what I would
Baier
do.
is a great.
Yes.
Billy Baier.
Right?
Yeah, then he can sign off.
Billy Bob Bear.
As he always does. Billy Baier. Always fair, never afraid.
Billy Bear, always fair.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
like it.
That's what Brett says when he signs off after he puts people to sleep. All right, that'll do it for us. Let's swing it on over to Dawn Stensland, who has a word for...